come with me on this walk and talk. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, windy, but beautiful. The sun is out. So for me, as long as the sun is out and it's dry, meaning no rain, I'm good to go. So come on in here. There's some things I want to talk about as it pertains to Fantasia, Barrino, and Anton Daniels. It's a lot of activity on the internet these days, which means there's a lot to talk about. So come on in. Let's get into it. Hopefully you all will be able to hear me. It's quite windy out, but we're going to get through it. We're going to get these steps in. Let me know in the comments if you are familiar with Fantasia Barrino and the situation with her father, Joesph Barrino, as of late. Let me know. Her father, Joesph Barrino, has done some interviews. I watched one last night, and he said some things that caught my attention. And I'm going to be honest, when he first came out talking, I think it was all of this probably popped off like coming off of Thanksgiving, because Fantasia's kind of out here doing shows and things. So at one of her shows, her husband surprised her on stage with a quote unquote proposal. So I was seeing that out there and I'm like, proposal. I just found it interesting because I knew she was already married. She'd been married for kind of a while. So I've come to learn she's been married for 11 years. And I learned that because when her husband was on the stage, when I eventually saw a clip of the show where he came out on stage, he gave her a ring that was 11 carats. And he said it was 1 carat for every year. So I'm like, okay, that's nice. But I just found it interesting that it was being called like a proposal. I didn't really get that part. So I don't know if it was just in his wording as far as his reasoning behind why he gave her the ring, why the word proposal was used. But I don't know. I just knew this woman already been married. So fast forward, coming off of that stage presentation, Fantasia's father, y'all come on here, like the video. I got the information for y'all. Fantasia's father took to the internet and he was just like, what is this? What are we doing? Why is he playing? Why is he playing? So the reason why Daddy was kind of in his feelings is because he said that he had learned that there were some people in Fantasia's camp who had recently, it seemed like it was recently, fairly recently, who had gotten fired after pointing out that there was monies missing. So apparently from what he was saying when I first heard him speak, he said that the people who handles Fantasia's financing told, I guess, her husband, Kendall, Fantasia, like, yo, there's money missing. And as a result of that, they lost their jobs. I'm thinking it was maybe like a couple of 2 people maybe. So this is what he was saying the first time he came out. Because remember, I told you he did an interview I watched last night on the Tony Gaskins show, if you want to go check it out. So the first time he spoke, he was just freely speaking on his phone like I am. He was just like, yeah, these people said they lost their jobs after pointing out that there was money missing. So he found it kind of quite convenient. Hello, Maru, hello. He found it quite convenient that here it is. There's this purchase of this fancy ring following reports of money being missing. So it's like, where is this money coming from that you're buying this 11 karat ring? Y'all know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, where's this money coming from? When I heard this man speak, he's a father. when I heard this man speak, I couldn't help but to wonder if whether or not the money that Fantasia's husband, Kendall Taylor, used to purchase her new beautiful shiny 11-carat ring, I couldn't help but to wonder if he did that as a disguise to justify why there was funds suddenly unaccounted for. You see what I'm saying? Like, you gotta kind of have that play, like, okay, if something come up missing, you got to be able to have your story. You have to be able to have your story to justify maybe why the math ain't mathing. So that was kind of where my thoughts went. Hey, what's up, Just Say When? Hello, everyone. Come on in, like the video. I'm out here doing a walk and talk. People doing their yard work, so we're going to try to make it work as I navigate through my neighborhood. So that was where my mind went. So I didn't think Daddy was lying, but I will say, honestly, the question that came to my head is, did he try to go talk to his daughter first before coming to the internet? Because we've been seeing a lot of people bringing their business, especially their family business, to the internet. And us onlookers are like, well, damn, like, you couldn't go and pull him to the side, ask him what's going on. Because recently we were watching this play out with the rapper Glorilla and her sister, which they call Brorilla. And they were kind of going back and forth. And I talked about it on my channel a little bit. So I'm like, okay, so I did wonder if Daddy did try to kind of pull baby's daughter aside and kind of talk to her. So those are my thoughts coming off of Daddy's first time. Andy Perrine, thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. Share the live. Right now we're talking about the singer Fantasia Barrino. Welcome to my channel if you're new to my channel. My name is Chic. My channel is Chic Speaks. And I talk just basically any and everything on this channel. I got a few channels. But on this channel it's mainly just viral topics. A lot of times centered around celebrities, as of late even content creators, but we're going to get to that one. So back to Joesph Barrino, Fantasia Barrino's father. So when he spoke, I just had the question of, okay, well, did he try to talk to his daughter offline? So that was a question I had, but I did not have doubt of the things that he was saying. So fast forward to yesterday, I listened to an interview. Someone has a question for me. Thank you. Good thing I got a moderator in here. What's the question? I'm gonna try to make this work. Sometimes with the sun out, it's kind of hard to see the screen. So let me know, what's your question? Let me see. Jeremy in the house, welcome. This guy, what's your question? This guy, if you're still there, like you have a question. So I'll carry on as you put that question in. So yes, so fast forward to yesterday, I listened to an interview with her father with another content creator by the name of Tony Gaskins. And he said that basically he had been in, up until that point, he was having communication with Fantasia. But Fantasia knows is so wide open when it comes to her husband, to where he couldn't really get her attention. And I feel like, the straw that broke the camel's back with the situation is when his son called him upset in tears after he got fired, because after being accused of stealing money from his sister. So yes, a brother now has entered the chat. How many of you all knew Fantasia had a brother in the industry? I did not know that until last night. She has a brother named Rico Barrino. He is a writer and a producer, and he's written quite a bit of her music. Well, fairly recently, he lost his job. She fired him. He got fired after being accused of stealing money. And he denied stealing money, and his father, knowing the character of his son, does not believe that his son stole money from Fantasia. Daddy feels like basically his son, Fantasia's brother, is being looked at as is like the scapegoat in the situation. Now, I have not heard a dollar amount as to why, as to the amount of money that has been stolen. I haven't heard a dollar amount. But the father's like, listen, my son Rico would never do that. That's not who he is. He writes, he produces, he does it all. If you want to go check out her brother, his name is Rico Barrino. And that's what his Instagram name is. Rico, R-I-C-C-O, Barrino. You can go and check him out. Now, remember, Daddy said that he had been having communication with his daughter. I was on the son Rico Barrino's Instagram last night, just trying to see something. I want to hear his voice for one, to see like how talented he was. He is very talented. What I learned from the father in the interview is that it seemed they get it seemed like, well, I don't know if it's just Daddy who the singing comes from, but Daddy is a gifted musician as well. He said he recorded not one, but 2 albums with Fantasia before. He said his first album he recorded with Fantasia was when she was 8 years old. The second album was when she was 14. He said a lot of people don't know that. He said that Fantasia was a daddy's girl. He's been in her life all her life. He said that he was the one who drove her from North Carolina to LA for American Idol. Because flight tickets, that just wasn't an option. Cost too much. So he put her in a car and they drove to LA. That was how Fantasia got there. He said it was him. He was the person alongside of her while she was going through that process. He said while they were there, Fantasia got a phone call from someone and she had asked him to step out of the room. I think they were in like the hotel room. She asked him to step out of the room. So he was kind of confused, like, well, why do you want me to, leave the room? So he leaves the room. So when the interviewer, Tony Gaskins, shout out to him, follow him at Tony Gaskins on YouTube. Tony Gaskins like, well, who do you think got to her? Like, why do you think you said suddenly from that day things changed? He said the only other 2 people that knew the situation and Fantasia going to, LA and the American Idol thing was her mother and her grandmother, her mom's mom. So he said if he were to just kind of sit, wonder who could have said something to her that had her to then start kind of putting her guard up around him, or when it came to him, those are the 2 people that come to mind. He said after that day, it was like their relationship kind of was never the same. It was like, she'll one minute be around, he'll talk with her, they'll spend time together, and then it'll be years before the next time he'll hear from her. Very odd, but he was like, it all started that day. She basically got the golden ticket at American Idol. Now, that's how she got there. He said she was about 19 years old then. Fantasia has a husband, like we said, Kendall Taylor. Kendall Taylor enters the chat like 11 years ago. He said how he came to learn about Kendall. Fantasia had invited him, her father, to her birthday party. It was like on a Saturday. While he was there, she's like, I have someone I want you to meet. That is when he met her then I don't know if it was now her new man. So she's like, yo, like, what do you think about him? He was like, well, I don't know. I mean, I just met him just like you. I don't really know much about him. He said he met him on a Saturday at the birthday party. She had just met him on maybe that Thursday. If you all go and do the research, Fantasia married this man, and I think she'll tell it in her story. It's not a secret. Fantasia married this man in less than 3 weeks. And you all, this is how I found the timeline, because Daddy says 3 weeks, but you all, it wasn't even a full 3 weeks. Fantasia's birthday is June 30th. Fantasia's wedding anniversary is, I believe, last night I saw that it was July 18th. So that's what, we got 18 days. Fantasia married this man 18 days. So I guess just right at 3 weeks, because Daddy met his now son-in-law on Fantasia's at her birthday party. Fantasia's birthday is June 30th. Fantasia got married July 18th. So I guess it was right around 3 weeks, like he said, where she married this man. Now, listen up, y'all. Like this video. Did y'all know that Fantasia and Kendall had divorced? So listen. They married the first time and there was a prenup. They broke up and got a divorce. He didn't like the fact there was a prenup. They broke up, got a divorce, and she was just so upset and wanted him back. And he was like, the only way I'm coming back is if I do not have to sign a prenup. So according to Fantasia's father, Joesph Barrino, there is no prenup. I repeat, there is no prenup. The marriage number one, there was a prenup. They divorced. Now, the one thing I wish that the interviewer had asked, Tony Gaskins had asked Mr. Joesph Barrino, was how long did the first marriage last? Because he said they divorced and got married again. People do that. People will do that. But he didn't give the timeline on how long the first marriage lasts to the second marriage. So I believe right now they're just not even, they're acting like there was never a first divorce. So the running number of 11 years is from the first time they married. So they just only kind of acknowledge that as like their anniversary. Because remember, people aren't supposed to know there was a divorce. So the agreement was, okay, we'll get married again. We'll get married again. And I'm not going to make you sign a prenup. If that's what you want, if that's what it's going to take to have you around, have you in my life, then I'm not going to make you sign a prenup. So Fantasia Barrino, allegedly, according to her father, Joesph Barrino, does not have a prenup in place with this man. That's scary. Think about the singer Candy Burris and her husband Todd. They're going through a divorce right now with a prenup, and see how ugly it is. So if you all see how ugly it is when there is paperwork involved and people trying to get around it, however they're trying to get around it, imagine the situation for these people when there is not a prenup in place. Listen, Daddy's like, this man, he's an opportunist. He feels like he has control over Fantasia. He's very standoffish with the family. Now, as I said, remember I told you all there's a brother named Rico Barrino. You can go to his Instagram at Rico Barrino. He has, several videos of him singing, but there's also a video where he and his sister Fantasia are singing in the living room. And I think that video was dated January 13th. So they're singing in the living room. You know how family get together. A lot of families that, where there's multiple people like that sing, they'll kind of get together and sing. So this is what they were doing. In the clip, in the video, you see Fantasia and her brother standing side by side singing. There's people sitting on the couch. You see some kids running around. And I saw the father. So he wasn't lying when he said that he had been in her life. So if you hear anything about, oh no, she ain't seen him and Lord knows how long, that's a lie, because the video is on her brother's Instagram where Fantasia is singing with the brother and the daddy is standing behind the couch as though he's like a, to me, his energy was given off kind of like a vocal coach. Because remember, their skills, their talents and things, it comes from Daddy. So as his kids are up there singing, he's kind of standing there like coaching them, saying encouraging things to them, with, you know how you do, when people who are singing and then there's people who are in their corner who are familiar with, know how to sing, and you kind of do your thing with encouraging them to do certain notes and things like that. It was kind of something like that. Very nice video. I like to see videos where family just regularly just kicking it together and they just do what they do, which is sing. So he is not lying when he say that he has been in Fantasia's life. He's been in Fantasia's life. Who I did not take notice of in this video was Kendall Taylor, Fantasia's husband. Now, it could be any reason why he wasn't there in the video, why he wasn't there. But going back to what Daddy has said, he has said that Fantasia's husband, Kendall, is very standoffish. He said whenever they get together as a family, he said for Thanksgiving, so I take it was this past Thanksgiving, they all got together. He said Kendall will just be standoffish. All the family will be together and Kendall will be just somewhere else. He said there's been times he's personally had events, maybe birthday parties, cookouts, things like that, barbecue, and he'll invite Fantasia and her family, and they will not show up. They will not show up. So like I said, when I was watching the video with the Fantasia and her brother Rico singing in the living room, like a duet, it's really good. Go to Rico Barrino, R-I-C-C-O, and Barrino. You'll be able to see her brother, his Instagram, listen to him sing, keep scrolling. And I believe it was January 13th, you'll see a video where it's him in the living room standing next to Fantasia. Her hair is red. It's short and it's red. And they're just singing, doing their thing like just families do, just nothing for just doing their thing. It's just a normal family that know how to sing. That's not my family, but but they were just kicking it. And you can see Dad. Joesph Barrino was there. Joesph Barrino was there. I did not see Kendall Taylor in the video. I did not see him. Was he there? Who knows? But he was not in the video. He was not sitting on the couch with the other people in the video, whether they're family, friends, whatever. He was not in the frame. I'm just going to keep it real, y'all. I don't think Daddy's lying about nothing. So apparently Fantasia, I haven't seen it, but I've heard she came out and kind of spoke or whatever. So what I'm learning is that she's come out, but I don't think it was a video like what her husband, I saw his video, Kendall Taylor's response. You can go to Kendall Taylor's Instagram and see his response. You can go to his Instagram. He has like a business Instagram too, because he has like some type of boys mentorship program, whatever. So that's his plug right now, this mentorship program. The trucking, I don't know if some of you have ever heard of the story about him being a multimillionaire through trucking. Daddy just basically was like, nah. So, what was I saying? So it has me now to believe this right now just made me think about the whole trucking thing, because any of you who may be familiar with Fantasia like I am, and who like Fantasia, you're familiar with her husband's story. He's an ex-felon. It's no secret. They've talked about it. I learned his story about 4 or 5 years ago. And the story really I just thought it was a standout story because it was an example of someone who was able to turn their life around. So he did like this sit down interview somewhere, like I said, like 4 or 5 years ago. And he said, he did time, maybe 7, 8 years. I can't remember the exact amount of time he did for just, street crime, drugs, guns, just, the typical, nothing that stood out as far as like the type of charge that he took. So he did time. So it's like, all right then. So when he got out, he got a job. You know how you start at the bottom. He got a job, and I think his job was at maybe like a trucking company or something like that. So he started doing minimal tasks there, and eventually kind of worked his way up to a higher position, more responsibilities. Once he got a few dollars, he seen a truck or something that was for sale on the side of the street, and he went ahead and bought the truck, and then started doing deliveries and things on his own. And he said also what he was doing is he was going around in the neighborhood picking up men who were also just not doing nothing with their life, who needed a job, or he felt like, hey, come do this with me, come get to this money, come work with me. So he started employing other men with his trucking business. So from there, his business grew, and that's how it grew into this multi-million-dollar trucking business. That was the story that he told during this interview I listened to about 4 or 5 years ago. Now, y'all don't ask me who he sat down with, because I can't remember. It wasn't like it was a YouTube type thing. He was physically in a room at some place, and there were round tables of people sitting at the table. So it was more of like a formal event type place. So if you Google Kendall Taylor interview or Kendall Taylor's story, you'll probably find it, because somehow I came across it. I don't know how, but it was like 4 or 5 years ago. But I remember that interview because it stood out to me, because at that time, my brother was just coming home from being incarcerated, and it was just like a positive story to me, and just gave me that much hope for him. And I remember like sharing the story with him. So if you're interested in Fantasia's husband's story or what he's saying, it's out there. Kendall Taylor. Fantasia's husband name is Kendall Taylor. So go look it up. So when the interviewer, Tony Gaskins, was talking to Fantasia's father, Joesph Barrino, he was like, okay, so Kendall says that when he met Fantasia, he was a multimillionaire already. What are your thoughts on that? He was like, let me tell you a story. He was like, right after Fantasia's birthday, she calls me one night. He said it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And she's like, yo, daddy, come pick me up. So he had like some questions, like, what do you mean? Where you at? And she just was like, listen, just stop asking questions. Just come pick me up. So he went and picked her up, right? So then she gives him an address to drop her off at. So this is before she married him and after the birthday party. So he does what she asked. He said he drops her off at Kendall's home. So the interviewer, Tony Gaskins, is like, okay, well, was this big $1 million mansion? Because you remember, he was a multi-millionaire. Where'd you drop her off at? He was like, no, I dropped her off at an apartment. It was an apartment, and at that time, he was driving a pickup truck. He was like, this man was not a multi-millionaire. That is not true. He was not a multi-millionaire when he met my daughter. So you all, again, as I'm sharing this information, you decide, you be the judge. What do you want to believe? When you look up, I believe, Kendall Taylor's net worth and things like that, I think it comes up to maybe him being worth about maybe around $500,000. It doesn't show him being a multimillionaire. It doesn't. Kendall Taylor's income comes from his wife. He has a position in his wife's business. I don't know what exactly his title is. Maybe, I don't know if he's her manager, but y'all know how these women, Mary J. Blige did it, women do it all the time. Well, they'll insert their men into their business and they come to regret it every time. Not some of the time, every time. They come to regret it. This man's hand is in her business. So when he did his response video to her father, part of his narrative was, how am I going to steal something that I helped build? Like, to him, he's like, listen, yeah, Fantasia is the talent. She's out there in front. But I'm a part of this too. I'm a part of this too. So that's how he justifies anything that he does, I guess, dealing with the finances, if he want to take money from the account, because in his mind, he's a part of the situation with that money being added to the account. His response to the father is on his Instagram. So if you go to, so you all Google Fantasia Barrino husband, Kendall Taylor. Once you get to Kendall Taylor, it's going to take you to his Instagram. While you're at Kendall's Instagram, he has a business page as well. His response is on that page. It's on the business page. You have to access that through his regular Instagram. So if you're wanting to hear his response, but you might can just be able to just simply go to YouTube and type in Kendall Taylor's response to Fantasia Barrino's father. But I'm just saying, he has the video posted on his Instagram. But he's like, yo, like, how you gonna take something that you helped build? Like, yo, like, Kendall views the wealth that Fantasia has and has accumulated. He views it as being his as well. In his mind, he's a contributing factor to why she got the money that she got. And he's like, yo, Pops, if you have some act right to you, you know, you can get you some of this too. Because right now, me and Tasia, like, we taking care of the moms. I think his mama, Fantasia's mama. So he's like, yo, if you want to get in on this, you better have some act right to you. So this is why some believe that Kendall is controlling Fantasia. He's controlling her finances, dictating where monies are going. Dictating where monies are going. So Daddy's talking. Daddy's like, listen, she ain't trying to hear what I'm trying to say, so I'm bringing it to the internet because I figure maybe if I can't get through to her, maybe some of her people, her fans, will be able to get through to her once they kind of express their thoughts after they do research and things like that. Okay, so apparently, supposedly, Fantasia has responded to her father. I have not seen that. But I think apparently what I'm learning is that her response, it wasn't a video, it was like a written response. I think that was showing coming from her, maybe one of her social media accounts. So the interviewer, Tony Gaskins, did ask the father, Joesph Barrino, well, do you think that was really your daughter who did that response? He was like, you know, I don't know. It could be. He's like, I wouldn't be surprised if her husband has access to her social media accounts, meaning that I wouldn't be surprised if he's been behind any responses that looks like they're coming from her, or they've been side by side together doing these responses. He's like, I don't know. But I know that there's nothing that I need from my daughter. He says that he's been in the trucking business for over 37 years. He owns his own home. This is Fantasia's father, Joesph Barrino. He said, I don't need money from my daughter. I can take care of myself. This man does look like he's fine. He don't look like he's on the struggle bus. Like he looks like he's fine. He said, I've been been in the trucking industry for 37 years. I own my home and I have 5 vehicles. He was like, I don't live in a mansion, but I'm comfortable. So many of you may know what that means. Most people are not rich, but you got a lot of people who feel comfortable. They're comfortable. So I understood exactly what that meant when he said that. He said he's comfortable. What he's doing, it has absolutely nothing to do with money, because he was like, if it was on that type of time, why didn't he come out talking like this a long time ago? Mind you, remember, Fantasia's been married for 11 years. She's been married for 11 years. So he was like, no, this has absolutely nothing to do with that. Like I said, I believe the straw that broke the camel's back is when they accused his son of stealing from his daughter. He took that personal. He's like, okay, no, they didn't went too far now. My son, Fantasia's brother, Rico Barrino, would never. He's never stolen from his sister. That's not the type of man he is. And I got a problem with them putting that narrative out there. So this is a father who's out here trying very hard to protect another child of his. He's like, one child, she just want to be over here lost in the sauce, but you're not going to tear down my other child. You might be over here dealing with Kendall Taylor and, you know, believing in everything that he's telling you, but I'm not. I recognize that this man is not what he appears to be. And so some of you may kind of peep game as well. When I go to videos, pictures, and things on Kendall's or Fantasia's social media, ladies, those little gestures that Kendall does for Fantasia, they just eat it up. They're oohing and eyeing and just couple goals, like they just really vicariously living through Fantasia and her husband. But I tell you, Don't ever do that with someone's relationship. Don't do that, because what may appear to be one way, a lot of times, more often than not, it's not even that. It's not that. It is not that at all. And with Fantasia and her situation or her marriage, according to what her father is saying, this fairy tale perfect relationship that Fantasia is giving off that she has with this man, that it's far from that. It's far from that. Fantasia has 3 children now. She has an adult daughter. I think her name was Zion. Remember, she had her daughter already when she was doing Idol. She was already a mother. I think she probably was probably the only contestant on there, maybe, that I can recall, that actually had a kid already, because she was 19, but she became a teenage mother. But so that's how everyone kind of watched her daughter grow up. And do y'all remember, maybe about 13, 14 years ago, she got pregnant by, the T-Mobile manager. I don't know if he worked for T-Mobile or Verizon. And that's when she got pregnant by a married man. Y'all remember that? She got pregnant by a married man. This is the state of North Carolina, and this is in that married man's wife sued Fantasia under the Alienation Act or law, which means that if a person within a marriage feels like a third party interfered in their marriage, then they have the right to sue them. And so this man's wife sued Fantasia. So this was before she met Kendall. This man's wife sued Fantasia, of alienation of love or something like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's a law. That's how many of us, including myself, came to learn of this law, where someone in a marriage can sue a person who's cheated with their spouse. I don't know if y'all know that, but y'all can look it up for your state. I live in Georgia, so I don't think they have that law here. But in North Carolina, they have that law. So Fantasia got sued years back. Y'all remember Fantasia had to file bankruptcy. Fantasia was about to lose her home, just lose some things. So Daddy was like, she went to Simon Cowell. Y'all remember the overseer of American Idol? She went to Simon Cowell, just say when it said, did the brother have access to her money that was accused? Daddy did not say in the interview if the brother had access to her money, but he did say when he's been close to Fantasia, and I guess in her career, he said he never had access to her money, but he did not say if his son ever had access to her money. So I'm not quite sure of that. I'm not quite sure, of that part right there. So Fantasia, about 14 years ago, she got sued. She filed bankruptcy. She went to Simon Cowell from American Idol. He's the one who basically gave her the money. I think he gave her the money to save her house. So she basically he paid for it, and I guess she just did a loan directly with him. That's what happened with that. So all of that took place on Kendall Taylor's watch. So while she was married to Kendall Taylor, that is when she went through that bankruptcy situation and all of that. So in the conversation between these two men, the interviewer Tony Gaskins and Fantasia's father, Joesph Barrino, it was like, how do one man allow for his wife to go to another man to ask for something? Another man that's not her father, a family member, just some man to say, hey, I need you to help me out, versus you going out there and trying to make a way for your wife. So that was a conversation that these two men had, because they just felt like, for the fact that Fantasia had to go to some other man for help while having a husband, that was nasty work. They just felt like, nah, this guy Kendall is not on the up and up. So mind you, she went to Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell helped her out. I believe that he helped her out by saving her house. But he helped her out. Fantasia has kind of been building herself up since then or whatever. And as she's been doing this and putting that work in, Her husband feels like, hey, hers is mine, what's mine is hers. Now, as a married person, that is how it is. You know, I'm married, been married over 20 years, so 22 years this year. It does work that way. It does work that way. However, when you get with someone who already has money and has a name for themselves and a brand, just because you now married them 3 weeks later, it does not mean that now suddenly what is theirs just overnight, just you become entitled to. You see what I'm saying? You don't develop this mindset of, okay, well, I can do what I want to do here because now that we're married. Because here, clearly, this is why he had a problem with that, because in order for them to carry on their relationships, because remember, Daddy said they had divorced. And then when he agreed, Kendall Taylor agreed to marry her again for the second time, he was only going to do it if there was no prenup in place. And she agreed because Daddy said he was invited to the wedding. Now, I don't know when Fantasia got married the first time, did they go to the courthouse or whatever? Because I don't recall her like seeing pictures and things like that. We kind of just started hearing that she was married. You was hearing she married some ex-felon, ex-con. Like, that was the talk. I remember back then, like, radio was heavy. It wasn't people just kind of only kind of listening through streaming, you know, on the internet, YouTube. I was listening to the radio more. She was going around doing interviews, and she was saying a lot of people was having issues and didn't want to work with her. They didn't want to work with her because they felt like her husband's hand was too much in her business. So it was like, it reminded me all of Wendy Williams and her situation with Kevin. How Kevin's hand was all up in Wendy Williams' business. And then by the time they went, and he was spending her money on Sharina, the side chick. Y'all remember that? Same thing. Same thing. That's what it reminded me of. So Fantasia said a lot of people kind of didn't want to work with her because they were like, well, why you got to go through your husband for everything? So Fantasia, I've heard her you know, when she would do these interviews on the radio, she'd be like, well, I mean, I've had financial situations and things like that where I didn't make the best decision with my money. And he tends to, you know, do better with finances and, you know, making decisions. So I just trust that, you know, his guidance and him being my king. Yeah, I mean, y'all heard that talk, my king. You hear Monique from the Parkers, the actress Monique, my king. Because she was having the same problem as well. Monique's husband, her king, hand is all in her business. We don't see Monique do much work. Ever since Monique's king hand has been all in her business, Monique hasn't had consistent work like she did before. I'm just saying, I'm just pointing these things out. When women attach themselves to these men and then start allowing for the man who, and more often than not, don't even know the industry, but start allowing for this man to run the show, suddenly the show kind of stops. Y'all see that? It's like suddenly kind of the show stops. And some funny business start taking place when the king entered the chat and start taking over. I've seen this over and over again. I've seen it. So here it is. Fantasia's in a situation with her king, who's running the show, who she now has a third child with. Their daughter is maybe a beautiful little girl. She's like 5. When they got together, he had an adult son who he wasn't able to be in his life consistently because he was going in and out of jail. So he didn't play a part in raising his son, who's now an adult and have children of his own. He has his own family now. So this is a man who has a history of making poor decisions. Now, people can change. They can. They can change. But also, as they say, a zebra does not change its stripes. So you cannot still ignore the past. And from what I've come to see, and what Daddy, Fantasia's father, Joesph Barrino, believes, is that Fantasia's husband is a smooth talker. How many of you all ever experienced or seen how people who kind of have been a part of criminal activity, they got the gift of gab? Or y'all ever see like some of them inmates, and you know, they be talking to these women on the outside and writing letters, making them all these promises. Don't let them be good looking, you know. So you have women out here in the free land, in the free world, who are out here waiting on these men who are locked up because they got that gift to gab, you know, they got that mouthpiece. What else is there that they have to do? They gonna tell you any and everything. So they develop that listen, I've seen it. So when Daddy said that he was able to peep game, he was like, he's an ex-felon. He a smooth talker. I see through it. See, here's the thing. A man knows how another man moves, just like a woman knows how a woman moves. Don't ever forget that. That's why I say, ladies, if you want to know some things about men, you got a father, or uncle, or brother in your life, talk to them. Run the situation down to them. Talk to a man you trust, because they gonna keep it real with you and tell you what it is. And fellas, the same with you. If you got sisters, a mama, grandma, they gonna tell you too. Because women know the nature of another woman just like men know the nature of another man. Hence why Kendall always gave the Heisman to father-in-law. Kendall always gave the Heisman to the father-in-law because he didn't want Daddy coming in peeping game. And remember, Daddy said he had a close relationship with his daughter. He said Tasia was a daddy's girl. He said when he took Fantasia and drove her across country, and I think he said, y'all, he was driving a Monte Carlo or something. He said Fantasia had been underneath his care. Fantasia had been underneath his care, which means Fantasia was underneath his roof. He is providing for Fantasia and his granddaughter. So this man, Kendall, seeing that Fantasia had a relationship with her father, and that's the one-on-one, y'all, ladies, listen up. Predator men, when they up to no good, they want to try to pull you away and try to isolate you away from your family or people who know you. They want to pull you away because they don't want the people who know you to peep game and get in your ear. How many times, y'all, we've seen that play out? Some of you may have experienced it where you've been with somebody and they try to isolate you from people. Isolate you from everybody or certain people because it's rooted in control. They don't want you to be listening to that person who you trust that can see through they ish. So Daddy was like, Kendall knew that I peep things. He knew. Because Daddy, you know, his background, I think it had came out. Daddy got a record too. I think a DV record, domestic violence record. So Daddy got a pass too, like many people got a pass. But Daddy was able to recognize certain things. He was able to recognize certain things. So Kendall didn't want to get close to Dad. He didn't want Daddy asking too many questions. Because Daddy gonna ask them questions that the baby girl who knows wide open isn't asking. Daddy's gonna ask, so where you from? Oh, okay. How long were you away? What kind of time you did? Oh, all right. So what you said you do right now for a living? Y'all see what I'm saying? See, Kendall is a red bone, light skin. Kendall is a good looking guy. If y'all haven't seen what Fantasia's husband's like, he's a very handsome man. I believe the average woman would find Fantasia's husband to be attractive. The average person. So I'm going off of the average. This is an attractive man. So a lot of times when women will get with an attractive man and they just so mesmerized by his looks, all the brains, the logic, all that go out the window. And don't let them put it down. Oh, they damn walking damn cross-eyed. They can't even damn see straight, think straight. That's a woman. But listen, Daddy ain't hypnotized like that. Daddy not hypnotized like that. Daddy see through it. Daddy ain't laid up with him. So Daddy ain't all in his feelings like that. Daddy able to peep game. He's able to think clearly. Unlike daughter. Because daughter's emotions is already caught up. So anything that he says or does, she gonna come up with an excuse. Like what I use the example, Wendy Williams and Kevin, her husband. That man hand was all in her business, his hand all in her money, and he was giving it out there to the next chick. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's good for women to have people in their lives, in particular people who are of the opposite sex that they trust, to be able to kind of be that sense of clarity. When sometimes things may get foggy for you, you have that trusted person in your life that can say, something ain't right. I see this, but let me holler at you for a minute. Let me point something out to you. Because this right here is something, you need somebody to do that. And Fantasia has somebody. She has her father to do that. But Fantasia ain't trying to hear it, because daddy ain't speaking the language she want to hear. And you got a lot of people, they just want you to say what they want to hear versus you kicking it real to them. But you always need those real ones in your life that's going to keep it real with you, not just tell you what you want to hear. It's a sad situation, but I see through it. I feel like the father has nothing to lose in this situation, because as they talked about in this interview, he's like, yo, if I had something to hide, I wouldn't even came to the internet with this. Of course, anybody can research me, pull up my past or whatever. So clearly, I'm not concerned about that. I'm not concerned about, okay, somebody learning that I had a DV charge. I'm not concerned about that. What I am concerned about is the protection of my daughter, because I see what's taking place with this man. So here's my thing. I think what's going to happen, and this is just me giving my opinion as a woman who's been married. I've been married 22 years this year. I've been married for a really long time. And I believe that Fantasia's marriage is not going to, it's going to end up ending in divorce. It's going to end up ending in divorce. And I think the root of the divorce is going to be infidelity on his part and her accusing him of taking money. I believe that is how it's going to be. I believe that in the end, Fantasia is going to be running to her father to comfort her. That's how it be. The same person who she's now kind of turning her back against as he's trying to open her eyes, I believe that is going to be the person who she is going to turn to at the end of the day. She's going to run to her daddy. And her daddy is going to be there to console her like a daddy should. He said that he's never violated, assaulted her. Apparently, some people have put out there on the internet that maybe like she stay away from him. Maybe he SA'd her. And the SA happened to a lot of people in a lot of households, families, but not all. And he was like, no, that wasn't Fantasia's story. I didn't do nothing to her like that. No, that I can't, y'all can't put that on me. But Fantasia's going to make her way back to her father. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time, because what they say was done in the dark comes out in the day. And the things that her husband, Kendall Taylor, is doing is going to come to light. Now, you all, as I was doing my research, come on in, like the video. Thanks for joining. I'm just doing a walk and talk, talking about some topics going on. As I was doing my research last night on the Barrino family, I made my way to, I was on Kendall Taylor's Instagram page, and he has, like I said, he has a separate page for his business. He has like this men's mentorship organization or something like that. And I saw Fantasia make a post on a picture referring to him as Dr. Kendall Taylor. Referring as Dr. Kendall Taylor. So I'm like, doctor? I done told y'all, yeah, I heard this man's story about 4 or 5 years ago. But it didn't involve anything centered around him furthering his education, getting any degrees. I don't even know if the man talked about in the interview if he had even had his GED. So I'm like, doctor? When the hell he become a doctor? So remember, I done told y'all that he was a multi-millionaire when he met Fantasia. He met Fantasia at like a restaurant on a rooftop. You know how you go out, you at a lounge rooftop, and you chilling. So she was at a restaurant on a rooftop, and that's how they met. And they just got to talking, and next thing you know, they just talked for hours and hours. That's just how their relationship started, and I guess they never stopped talking. So that was how their relationship started. So Daddy said that happened on a Thursday. Hell, Fantasia was introducing this man to him on that Saturday at her birthday party. So he said, hell, he knew no more about this man than hell Fantasia did, because they both had met him just within days apart. So I'm like, Dr. Kendall Taylor, child, yeah, some university. Yeah, so I went to Kendall's website. You know, I'm researching now, trying to figure out when the hell he become a doctor. A doctor of what? I'm all on the internet, chat, GPT, AI mode. When the hell, what did I miss? What did I miss? So I'm in the comments on one of the pictures where he's, you know, on stage, just like a video, and he's at a ceremony for, you know, getting his doctorate, like a college graduation ceremony. So I'm like, dang, he did the ceremony. It wasn't no backyard ceremony like Kim Kardashian when she got her little law degree. No, it wasn't nothing like that. He was literally on like a stage. It wasn't no Kardashian type ceremony. It was like a real legit like ceremony, college, you know, ceremony. So I'm like, okay. So somebody did give him a degree, because he had the diploma and everything. Can't remember which school it was. So I'm like, so I'm going through the comments trying to understand, and somebody says it was a guy. It was a guy. See, men, as somebody said in here, men are very logical. Men don't really get caught up in the emotion like that, like how a woman get caught up in. So this man puts a comment and was like, that was an honorary degree. Now, mind you, a lot of times when I see people congratulating somebody on getting a doctorate, if it's an honorary degree, they will have it in the title as they're congratulating the person. Oh, congratulations on the honorary degree. When Fantasia did this post, she did not add honorary in it. She just said doctor. So honorary was nowhere in it, y'all. So I learned about the honorary part because this man in the comments was like, man, that's an honorary degree. So then I'm like, okay, that makes more sense, but let me look further. So I went to the internet, start Googling and seeing, yes, he got an honorary degree from some school. Can't remember, but like I said, if you go to his social medias, go to his Instagram, you'll find it, for his mentorship leadership program. Because I told y'all he has like this organization for men, for boys and for men. I guess with helping them. It seems like when I was reading up on his business, he tries to help single women who are raising children, in particular sons, with rearing their sons in the right direction. So that's kind of what his business do. It's a noble, okay. I mean, I'm not mad at the business, but that's what he do. What kind of efforts he do with it, I don't know. I'm just telling y'all that's what his plug is. What kind of money coming in? To me, it's given like a nonprofit, and they may get money from donations and things, but it ain't nothing. It's nothing that gives that he's making millions of dollars from it. No. You know, he's just got a few dollars and things coming in. So it wasn't nothing grand. But I did end up learning, yes, he has an honorary doctorate degree. And it just got me to wondering again, as I've asked over the years, what is the point? What is the point of these schools giving out honorary doctorate degrees? Anybody know? Because I have multiple degrees, all the way up to master's. I got like 2 of those. I have never, haven't, to try to get a doctorate. But I'm like, what is the point of just bringing somebody up on stage and giving them an honorary doctorate. Like, what do you do with that, y'all? Like, what do you do with an honorary doctorate degree? What we doing with it? I don't know. So Fantasia Barrino's husband has an honorary doctorate degree, but you're not going to see honorary on either of their social medias as it pertains to him being a doctor. So she called him, yeah, Dr. Kendall Taylor. Okay, this is that stuff I'm talking about. So ladies, what I'm going to say is that we can't just get caught up in the optics of things. We can't be out here getting caught up in just, someone's physical looks, their appearance. We can't be out here getting caught up in the fact that, okay, we're able to say we got somebody. Like, we got to do a better job at the quality of man that we're linking up with. It has to be more to it than him just having certain body parts. I'm just saying, y'all. It has to be more to it than that. And it says, Ebony says, men unalive people all of the time because of their emotions. So please, men, I was saying, because I'm going to get on to Anton Daniels. And I personally feel like men are more emotional than women. But I think it's different ways that the emotion is shown. I think that women's emotions are shown when it comes to making poor decisions in relationships, with choosing to kind of stick around in something that no longer serves us. I think that just ain't it. But men, when their emotions aren't regulated, when it's not controlled, it more so lean towards like violence. It's like the women's emotions, I feel like, don't lean towards like violence that's getting them locked up, and doing time. It's just different. But in all, I think that men get caught up in their emotions more because it's more detrimental to their lives when they're caught up in their emotions than when a woman is caught up in her emotions. When a woman's caught up in her emotions, I feel like, it's usually kind of going to impact the quality of her life as far as with her probably economic conditions. When men get caught up in their emotions, is that their life is impacted by their freedom. You see the difference? It's more severe when the man get caught up in his emotions. That's why more men, you're seeing them doing time than a woman. You're going to see the woman out here, she might have 50, 11 kids or whatever. She on Section 8, she got EBT or whatever, things that are rooted from certain decisions that she made. But her decisions, or maybe poor decisions, hasn't impacted her freedom. You see what I'm saying? We're looking at the weight of it, the weight of these decisions. The women's decisions isn't compromising their freedom like the men's decisions are. So that's kind of like the difference. So I'm going to segue into Anton Daniels. I don't know how many of y'all like the video, like, share, and subscribe. So Anton Daniels, I've been following this foolishness with him that stemmed from his sit down with Corey Holcomb. About a month or so ago? So I've been following that. When I learned that Corey Holcomb had called a woman out of her name that was in the company of Anton on that day he showed up for the interview, I immediately knew who that woman was. Micca's name, Pop Culture Micca, that is like her social media name. But I knew it was her. Why did I know it was her? Because I was already familiar with the dynamics of their relationship. I've known who Anton Daniels is. You're watching. I am a content creator. I have like 3 channels. I got multiple channels. I spend more of my time on another channel I have that's a political channel called Chic Speaks on it than this channel. That channel is a larger channel. However, this channel you're watching me on is my original channel. But I don't spend a lot of time on this channel. I'm going to start trying to do better lately. Because politics has just worn me out. I'm just kind of like, you know what? Okay, what Anton and Corey said now. So that's why I'm back over here. So I knew that it was probably Micca because that's who he had been running around with. Sure enough, that's who it was. Micca has gone, she's done interviews, and Anton Daniels have done interviews. What's coming out is that the information that they are sharing in these sit-down interviews that they are doing are contradictory to the information that's now surfacing from past lives they've done. See, that's the part I don't understand. I don't understand how somebody can put something on the internet, then tell another story as though they didn't put something else on the internet, but think that just because they go to the internet and take it down, edit it, remove it, whatever, that it never happened. Newsflash, that is not how internet works. Once it goes on the internet, it's forever, forever, ever, forever, ever. Always remember that. So here it is. Information is coming out again on the internet because people are now, what did they say? Hindsight is 2020. People are now going back to re-look at things that they made to see if they missed some things in the past. Because a lot of people are just now becoming familiar with Anton Daniels and Micca on this type of level. You know how you see some content on the internet and, you know, Anton got a billion videos out here on the internet. So you're familiar with the person because you see their content coming, but you don't really follow them like that to kind of know how they move. You just see that they're an active content creator. That's kind of how like a lot of people is when it comes to Anton. Well, with me, I knew Anton beyond just being an active content creator because as a content creator, types of things that I've covered on my channel, I've participated in panels, like I'm familiar with who he is and how he moves. All the way down to when it comes to his wife, conversations he's had on camera with his wife, conversations he's had with people on panels about his wife, all of that, you all, because I've been following this man for at least about 4 years. And when I say follow, I'm just saying I know who he is because I don't follow any of his channels anymore. And the reason why I don't is because a couple of years ago, I took notice of how he did not like black women. Just the certain things that he would say, it made me to believe and feel as though he does not like black women. And when I say black women, I mean black women who don't look mixed, racially ambiguous, like black women like myself. He doesn't like darker. And I say that is because on multiple occasions, I've seen him go in, cuss out black women, call them out their names, and think nothing of it. And I've only seen him do it with women who were of a darker complexion, brown skin or dark skin. Never have I seen that man go off and talk disrespectful to a fair-skinned woman or a woman who looks racially ambiguous, aka an exotical, like what I classify Micca as. Micca is a woman to where you look at it, you be like, well, damn, is she black? What is she? You know what I'm saying? I believe she's Cuban and black. So a lot of times people call them exoticals, where it's just like they kind of mix race. People don't maybe necessarily classify them as black. Some people may, but you know, they questionable. So I noticed that women who has more of that questionable look, or a woman who obviously does not look black, Anton Daniels tends to respect them more, agree with them more. It's a different type of energy he gives to those type of women. And I peeped that maybe about 2 to 3 years ago. So I fell back and I stopped just listening to him because I seen what he was doing. Because mind you, the same women that he come for and go hard into pain for, they look just like his wife and daughter. Have y'all seen Rita? Beautiful dark-skinned chocolate woman. Have y'all seen his daughter? They're dark-complected women just like him. So how is it that you going hard on women that look like your wife and your daughter? Like, make it make sense. Make it make him make sense. Make it make sense. So that part never made sense to me. So I fell back. So now, as everything is unfolding and coming out, my thought is, his day has come. Because here's the thing, karma doesn't miss anyone. Karma isn't good or bad. It's centered around the energy you put out. So if you put out good energy, you have good karma. If you put out negative energy, you have negative karma. You see, so it's not a good or bad thing. It's just a reflective of what you're doing and how you're moving. Anton has been moving greasy for a very long time. He's been moving greasy for a very long time, going all the way back to when he was on the Lapeef network. That was when I first came to know who Anton Daniels was. He was on the Lapeef show. He eventually broke away from there a couple of years ago and started focusing more on his own platforms. And that's when we seen him really grow. But as I was watching him really grow, I seen this, he was already arrogant, but I just seen it on a whole nother level, because a lot of times, sometimes you all, people will try to switch it up once they now feel like they can get in certain rooms that they wasn't able to get into before. People can switch it up. I felt like I was seeing Anton show his true colors on how he really felt about people. And at this point, he wasn't concerned about what the people that looked like him, what they even said or thought. That's how I felt. So anyway, fast forward to today. He's dealing with all that crap, that energy, whatever that he put out, he's dealing with that. This is what you're seeing play out on the internet. While he was running around disrespecting people because he felt like he had more to offer than what they did because of his money, because of his bottom line, because you're not going to sit up there and listen to Anton talk and he not talk about what his bank account looked like. That's what you're not going to do. Anton stays talking about his finances. Well, but I guess when you only 5'2", like what else, and you a man, I don't know what else you're going to talk about, what you're going to lead with other than your money. So from that standpoint, like, have y'all seen him? This is an itty bitty man, very short legs and short torso, just short all the way around, and ain't got no hair on his head. So I can see why he running around talking crazy like this and flexing with his money and his cars and things, because he ain't got nothing else. He know he ain't went into the looks department. So he's like, listen, I got to lean in on my bank account. Okay. All right. But here's the thing. You got to be careful with how you treat people. Anton has treated many people greasy. And this is why so many people are going so hard on him right now. Because people have seen how he's acted towards other people. So they're not feeling sorry for him. Because at the time when he was on the internet talking crazy about other people, he wasn't feeling sorry for them. So now people aren't feeling sorry for him. Hold on, let me put my battery pack. So people aren't really feeling sorry for Anton. I'm one of them. Because I had already peeped what he was about. It was just a matter of time before it just became apparent to everyone else. So it was just a matter of time. So that time is here. I saw last night, I think it was Ringo TV, another content creator. Here's reacting to an interview or a video. I don't know if the girl was just talking. I don't know. But her name is Noel. I think that's her name. Let me see. I got it in the title of the video. Because her name, it's new to me. I think I've seen her before on some panels, but when Anton left the Lapeef network, like I stopped watching over there because, like I said, it was Anton's energy that I never was here for. I'm sorry, her name is Joesph Noel. Joesph Noel is another content creator out there. I think she's got maybe like less than 2,000 subscribers. So she's a content creator out there. I don't think she got a lot of followers, but I could be wrong about that. Joesph said that Anton had slid in her DMs. I believe she believes that he had slid into her DMs before, Micca came in the picture. I don't know what the timeline is, but she says that Anton had slid in her DMs, and he, I don't know where she lives, but she had been a regular on his panel, Room 9. That's what Anton's channel. He got like 3 channels, or multiple, at least 3. But this one's Room 9. He's changed the name multiple times. Room 9, I think it's like a little more than, it's like 102,000 subscribers or something on there. So she was always known as the kind of person that would go back and forth with Anton. She'd go back and forth with him. And so she said she had been on the, had done several episodes prior to him sliding into her DMs on his show. One day he slid into her DMs and he invited her to Detroit. So she's like, what I need to come to Detroit for? He was like, oh, just, to have a good time. And she was like, okay, I ain't never heard of Detroit and a good time in the same city. I thought that was hilarious. But she was like, no, that don't even make sense. Detroit, good time, that don't even make sense. So he was like, no, just come through. You'll see. And she was like, well, like, what we doing? Like, what's the point? Like, why am I coming through? Like, so she had questions, you all. Ladies, this is why we got to ask questions. She had questions. What are we doing? He couldn't really answer him. He was just like, well, you just got to come and see. So she was just like, no. And because she said she felt like that he was, he said that she felt like he was online being a pimp. And it's like, I'm like, okay, it's not Anton dirty macking. She said it felt more so like he was just trying to be a pimp. It just gave pimp vibes, pimp energy. And so she was like, no. And then she was like, hell, and if he would have told her, okay, we're going to do some content together, whatever, she said she would have told him like, okay, or said, well, can I bring my man? my man. So, but he never really gave no justification as to like really why he wanted her to come. But she was able to see through the bull. So again, she's saying that, like, for example, with Micca said that she ended up at that basketball game with Anton because he invited her after they did an interview. Because remember, he flew her out just like he offered the girl, Jazz Noel, just like he offered her a flight ticket. He did the same thing with Micca, but the difference between the two ladies is that Micca accepted, Jazz Noel did not. Jazz Noel says she was able to see through it. She already seen through it because she didn't see any reason as to why she needed to go to Detroit. Like, for what? Like, what? Well, I mean, we do this panel show. We shoot the breeze. You and I, we go back and forth. Like, why do I need to physically go there to be in the same city with, like, why? Make it make sense. So she had questions. Anton wasn't with all the questions. He was just like, all right, then, well, just when you change your mind, just hit me up. She was smart. Beautiful, another beautiful girl, beautiful black. She's a beautiful black girl. She's beautiful. So she's like, she didn't do what Micca did. You see the difference with how they responded to the same situation? Because Micca said that Anton reached out to her on this tip of, oh, I like your content. Mind you, from what I've come to learn at the time when Anton reached out to Micca, she had only about 1,200 subscribers. So she was barely, if she was even monetized yet, because to be monetized, you need at least 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So I don't know what her watch hours look like, but she had just made over 1,000 subscribers. So what do you mean, sir? You like my content and you want to get me flued out so we can collaborate. You see what I'm saying? You gotta be able to peep game. Anton wanted this woman to slide through because he liked what he's seen. He liked what he's seen. And Micca, which is coming off as being someone who has beauty but not, but lacking in the brains, went for it. But remember, I told you the other beautiful girl, Jazz Noel, did not go for it. She had questions like, wait a minute, what do you mean? Like, she had questions that Micca did not. Micca said as soon as this man reached out to her, she was just like, okay. She said that with her own words when she did her interview with this guy named Orlando. Y'all seen that interview? And she's sitting down with some man and he has like a blue suit on or whatever. Apparently they used to work together. So she did her first, sit down interview with him. His name is Orlando, but the channel name, it don't have his name in it. I can't remember the channel name, but if you go to YouTube and type in Micca's interview, it's going to come up. It's going to come up. So Micca told her friend, like, yo, when he reached out to her and said, hey, I want to do whatever, she quickly jumped on the opportunity. No questions asked. Jazz had questions. Anton did not have any answers. His response was maybe just come through, you'll see. She's like, I mean, damn, what I look like trying to leave wherever I am on some, well, you'll see when you get here. Like, she knew Anton was married. She has a boyfriend. Like, what are we doing, old man? What are we doing? What are we doing, old man? What are we doing, old, short, bald man? So, Jazz Noel, she was smarter than Micca. She didn't get caught up because she said, even though she wants to grow as a YouTuber or a content creator, it still matters to her reputation and how she goes out. What they say is not what you do, it's how you do it. Jazz was focused on the how. Jazz was focused on the how. It wasn't about, oh, I want to just get these numbers up. It was important to her as to how she was going to build her platform. Micca, on the other hand, that wasn't important to her. What was important to her was, okay, here's someone whose platform way bigger than mine, and he understands YouTube. This, like, she was just looking at it from an opportunity standpoint as to how she can get a hand up, and just choosing to just not even pay attention to all else. She didn't care. Jazz Noel cared. She cared like I would like to see any woman do. Care. What they say, all money ain't good money. That's exactly what the situation with Anton is. All money is not good money. Just because he's out here all across the YouTube platform, you got to pay attention to how he's moving as a person. Do you want to align yourself with someone like that? Because as Micca has come to see, it will eventually impact your brand. Micca's brand is not good right now. I don't know how she can turn it around. But right now, her brand is not good. She's not looking good out here right now as a married woman who has been seen in compromising positions with a married man. Now, even though Micca says, I didn't sleep with him, this, that, I don't know. But what Micca cannot deny, nor Anton can deny, is that the optics aren't good. The optics are not good. Hence why I've come to learn that Anton has gone and done some editing to some of his past content with him and Micca on panels together. And he's even removed some of the content because he sees that it's not a good look. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. But this is what happened when you move selfishly, right? Anton was moving selfishly. He didn't care about the feelings of his family, his wife, his daughter. He didn't care about how he was moving and how bad it was having them to look, in particular his wife, because people have been talking about Rita for years. Not anything bad about her, but just questioning why she allows her husband to do these things, to move it the way in which he moves on the internet. A lot of people have not understood that. But listen, what I have known, because I've known Anton for a long time, as a content creator. Rita hasn't worked in a long, long time. She doesn't work. All her income comes through her husband, Anton. So ladies, a lot of times when you find yourself in a situation like this, you end up feeling as though you're stuck. You can't go anywhere or do anything because all the cards are in their hands, because you don't have any money. You don't have any income. You have children. And I feel like with Rita, that has been her situation. Anton has said multiple times he was Rita's first in everything. They met in high school. Rita has never been with another man. All she knows is Anton. Can y'all imagine that? All you know is Anton Daniels? Y'all ladies, think about it for a minute. Can you imagine Anton Daniels being the only man that you've known, that you've been with, experienced in any kind of way? It got to be more to life. But that's Rita's situation. That is Rita's situation. All she knows is Anton. So here it is. He's out here running amok, embarrassing her, the daughter, the family name. And she does not have the resources to move around on her own. I think every woman should have something of their own, just in case things get tough and the person you're with starts wanting to act a monkey. Like, no, you need to have your own. You need to have your own, so you don't feel like you have to stick around and deal with foolishness. And I feel like Rita has stuck around to deal with foolishness because she doesn't have any other choice. She doesn't have her own income coming in. Her income is whatever Anton puts in her bank account. Like, he controls it, and he knows that. So he's been moving on the internet recklessly in a way that aligns with that belief, because ain't no way, if he felt like his wife would leave him for his shenanigans, he would be running around like this on the internet. So he got reckless. He got reckless. Micca became reckless. She became reckless too. They both got reckless. They both got blinded by their own personal gains and didn't give thought to the people who were connected to them, who were tied to them. This is what it looks like when you're selfish. Micca was moving selfishly, thinking about just herself and not her husband, not her brand. She was just thinking about what she could get from in that moment. And Anton has been doing the same thing for years on the internet, because his wife has made it comfortable for him to move how he moves. Why? Because she's still there. So he knows he can confidently say she's not going anywhere. So he moves in a way that shows that she's not going anywhere. Well, they say you got to teach people how to treat you. Rita has taught Anton how to treat her. And this is what we see play out. But guess who was by his side when he went to interview with Tasha K? Rita. Why wasn't Rita with you, sir, when you were going to Corey Holcomb show, the 5150 show? Because when I first found Anton about 4 years ago, all he would talk about is how everywhere he went, he would take his wife. And I believed he would. He would show video of him being out and about in the streets. Rita be right there on his side. Rita would be right there on his side when he'd do the Millionaire Morning Show. That's when I would watch it, because I liked her. She's a beautiful woman, good energy. It wasn't for him. I really liked Rita. She was my favorite Daniels, not him. It was Rita. And there's a lot of people who feel that way. I've never heard anyone say anything negative about that woman as far as her character, who she is as a person. Rita's too good for Anton. He doesn't deserve her. He doesn't deserve her. But Rita has given him the impression that the things that he does is okay because she's still there. Action speaks louder than words. And the fact that she's still there, it tells him that she's good, she all right, she ain't going nowhere. So this is how he moves. So when he went to meet with Tasha K, he had Rita right there on his side, like, oh, for old time's sake. I have not heard Anton probably in the last couple of years, but I don't follow him regularly, so I don't know if he has. But in the last couple of years, I have not heard Anton make a comment about, I take Rita everywhere I go. Because remember, I told you like 4 years ago, I would always hear him say that. Since Micca has been in the picture for probably around 18 months or so, however long Micca's been in the picture, I have not heard Anton talk about taking Rita everywhere he goes anymore. He doesn't say that anymore. I haven't heard him say it anymore. That's when things went left, when he started moving differently and he felt like, oh, because his money was up, because his YouTube check was bigger, that he can upgrade from Rita and get a baddie to take with him to move around with. That's what it's given. But he wants Rita now to be on his side to help clean up his image. See, that's another thing, women, you got to be mindful is men will suck up your energy and use you and these good things that you bring to the table while still trying to dog you out. I've heard Anton plenty of times over the years talk about how many business deals he's made, how many great relationships he's built on the back of Rita because of her beautiful spirit and being able to connect with these men's wives and things like that. So he would talk about, men, you really need to, get you a wife or whatever, have you a woman because, she can really open up doors and make a difference because Rita does this, that, and the third. Like, I've heard this man say it. But look how he shows her gratitude. Look at, like, is this how you show appreciation? By running around in these streets with other women? When you've outright said on multiple occasions that Rita has gotten you to the bag. And I believe him because I understand the value that a woman brings in a relationship. It's the energy, it's the essence. You all pay attention going forward if you haven't already. Next to a successful man, you're going to see a woman, a strong woman. It's the energy of the woman that has that man to be able to be successful at the highest limit. It's our energy. And any successful man, they'll tell you that. Men are driven from the essence of a woman. Like, think about it. When they want to get to the money, it's always rooted in a woman to gain access to women. It's always rooted in a woman. It don't be about, to show off to another man unless, they just into, men. But typically, they move in a way to be able to flex, to just, show their muscle to another woman. So when we have to recognize what you bring to the table and know that, okay, if you weren't there to bring that to the table, they wouldn't be motivated to thrive in the way that they're able to thrive. The motivation wouldn't even be there because they're motivated by you. So that's why they have to be able to earn the right to, to have you by their side. It shouldn't be something that's just automatic, even if you don't work. Because your value is just you being you, your energy. Get into it. Anton has said multiple times that Rita has helped him make a lot of deals, and I believe it. I believe it because I understand what a woman brings to the table in a relationship. Most successful men, they're married. They may not be the best husbands, but they're going to have a ring. They're going to be married to some woman. Even if they stepping out, cheating or whatever, they're going to be married to a woman. Just pay attention. It looks better even for brand deals. When you're going before other men in meetings, like it gives off the signal that you're trustworthy, that you're serious, that you're committed, that you're a family person. You see what I'm saying? These things that marriage gives off. So a lot of times, even on the man may feel like, hey, I really don't want to be settled down to one woman. They come to learn the importance of the optics of the way it looks that you're settled down with one woman. Like, y'all, it's deep. So this is a real thing. Research that. I bet you if Anton were to divorce Rita and just be single, he would not be as successful as he is married to Rita. He would have to try to replace her with somebody else to get another woman. And who knows if his effort, his success would even be the same. But him staying as a single man, I bet you he'll see a difference, a change with the money, his bottom line. And any man that's in here in this chat, think about it. Think about if you're married. Think about life pre-marriage versus post-marriage. Give thought to what your life would look like if you were not married. Think about your life in comparison to somebody who is not married and what their bottom line looking like, what their wins and successes looking like. Do they look like they're getting to it in a way that's on a grander scale than you as the married family man? Like, really think about it. So you have to know your worth. Rita is someone to where I feel like she does not know her worth, which is rooted in self-esteem. That is rooted in self-esteem. Rita is a beautiful, dark-skinned woman, but we going to keep it real over here because I don't know no other way. I am willing to bet that Rita has deep-rooted issues with her looks that stems from her complexion, her dark complexion. I'm willing to believe that. And here's the thing that I'm pretty sure that messes with her psyche. These women that her husband gallivants around with, they don't be her skin color. They don't be her shade. They're always much lighter than her. I have yet to see him oohing and ahhing over a woman on the internet, saying compliments to her, who, when her skin color was anything close to the shade of his wife's, and his daughter's. And all three of their skin colors are the same, if you haven't seen this family. So think about it. It's like you as a black woman, every time your man cheat on you, it's with some white woman. Or say you as a white woman, your man cheat on you is with a black woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that's so different from you. So it makes you wonder, like, damn, am I really kind of what you into? Because I noticed that whenever you step out, it's always somebody who's to the contrary, that don't look anything like me. Like, so it's like, well, why are you with me? Because clearly you got a type and it is not me. Because every time you step out, it ain't with somebody that look like me. Y'all see sometimes like how celebrities will get out of a relationship and they'll get with someone that looks similar to the last, like when Kanye left, him and Kim Kardashian got divorced, and then he got with the lady he's with now, and people were saying she resembled Kim. Or Megan Good and her husband, they got a divorce, and then his new wife, people think, y'all see what I'm saying? That makes sense because it gives that this person has a type. This is what they're attracted to, whatever. But with Anton, everything that he gallivants around, it doesn't look anything like Rita. So, sir, it's giving that Rita is not really what you into. Rita is what you were able to afford when you got with her. Because they say a man's partner, his wife, it's a sign, it's an indication of what his money look like. A man is going to get the best that he's able, what he qualifies for. At the time when Anton married Rita over 20 years ago, that was what he qualified for. Anton now in 2026 is feeling himself. To Anton, he qualifies for a Micca. And you may wonder, well, why does he think that? Because he got his money up. Y'all ever notice like these celebrity men, like especially the black men, their first baby mama, the first woman he was with? Think about, we'll start with Lil Wayne. His ex, Toya, beautiful brown-skinned woman. They had a beautiful brown-skinned daughter, Reginae. There's no other woman that this man has procreated with since her that looks anything near like Toya. Nothing at all. Toya, to like, they don't look like her. Like they get lighter and lighter until it phase out to where they're not even black. You see? And it's not just her. The rapper Jeezy did it. Jeezy has an older son that he done. I don't know if they ever, patched up their relationship, but at one point some years ago, they were like fighting and stuff. So he had a like really poor relationship with his son. But that son, his mother was just a black woman, like, black like me. But then his other kids, he has like, at least two other kids. The one he was with some woman before, Jeannie Mai. She was racially ambiguous. I don't know what her ethnicity is, but they have a daughter together. And then he got all the way Jeannie Mai, who's, Asian. So you start to see that men, as they get more money, they start to go towards what they really want. So that's why they say a man, the woman he's with, that's what he qualifies for. Because soon as he's able to get better to what he thinks is better, and a lot of times it's just strictly just physical. It ain't got nothing to do with the character, but it's just the optics. He's going to go and do it. So I feel like the more success that we have seen Anton garner, the more he's chased after women who are just on the opposite spectrum of his wife. But this is what they do. You see it all the time. I feel like you see it more with men than women, black men in particular than women, when it comes to when they get into money. I don't really take notice of that with women when they come into money, the change between like the men that they kind of link up with. But men, y'all know I know what I'm talking about. Think about all these men, your favorite celebrities. Just think about the starter woman. They call them the starter, the come up chick. Think about the very first woman. Think about what that very first woman looked like, what those kids look like. And then as time goes on, pay attention. You will take notice that that woman starts to become lighter, lighter, and lighter until eventually just blackness is, it ain't even there. They just now in a whole nother race. Michael Jordan did it. He did it. Like I'm saying, y'all tell me I'm lying. Like this is what you see. Anton's doing the same thing. But now, since he done pissed off his community in a way to where it's effing with his brand, now he got to bring Rita, the starter wife, back outside. So now she's on his side at his interviews as he does damage control. Oh, you bringing her to the interview with Tasha K? You bringing her to the interview? Why couldn't she go with you to the interview to see Corey Holcomb? What's the difference? Why couldn't Rita go with you to LA to see Corey Holcomb, but she can go with you after the ish didn't hit the fan to Tasha K in Florida and do it? Like this is the shit I'm talking about. This goes to show that he's using this woman. He knows that people like Rita. They ride for Rita. So let me just keep her on my side because I need her to help clean up my brand. Baby, like people will use you if you allow for them to use you. And Rita is allowing for Anton to use her. And I hate that for her because I don't feel like she deserves it. I don't feel like she deserves it at all. I don't feel like she deserves it at all. And to me, this also is an indication that Anton has not played a part with helping her in the area of like building her self-esteem. To me, he feeds into her insecurities. He feeds into her insecurities. And I'm willing to bet her number one insecurity is her skin complexion. Because more often than not, in black men and black women, but especially black women, when black women have a darker skin complexion, they have this complex about them because they know with the way the society is made up, especially in like, in America, in the US, the lighter, the better. They know that oftentimes, unfortunately, darker skinned people are not treated the same as other people. And this is primarily, they experience this within the black community. Not so much outside the black community, because I feel like outside the black community, like whites, Asians, whatever, black is black. So I don't feel like the skin thing is a thing for them. It's like either you black or you not. But within the black community, oh yeah, we got to go on the shades. Okay, she red bone, she light skin, is she brown? Do she pass the paper bag test? Y'all know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying? Like it's this whole think piece about where you at, what's your skin tone, like, is it acceptable or not? Should you be out in the sun or not? Like, it's a whole thing. It is a whole thing. So this woman, I'm sure, grew up hearing these same things, experiencing it, because I'm just speaking on it. I haven't experienced it, but I'm aware of how there's a difference in treatment with people who are darker skin complexion within the black community than there is, for those who are of a lighter hue. It is what it is. It is what it is. So here it is. She has a man that whenever it's questionable about his infidelity, his faithfulness, if there is a woman in the picture, she's someone who's much lighter. So think about it. Follow with me. Let's just say he tells her, no, I love dark-skinned women. I love them. But though every time there's some story out about him gallivanting with some other chick, because that's what he referred to his wife, a chick. So that was a red flag years ago. it's always someone who's non-dark skin. So if you really love the dark skin, why is it that these other women never have dark skin? Like this shit I'm talking about. Like you got to really pay attention to it. You got to be able to peep game. He just tells her that. He married the dark-skinned woman because that's what his short 5'2", 200-pound. That's all. That's what he qualified for. That is what he qualified for. So that's what he got. But today, he feels like, listen, I qualified for more. Because I'm willing to bet if Anton were to divorce Rita, his second wife would not be the shade. She would not be dark-skinned. She probably wouldn't even be white, but she'd be, she probably, I'm sorry, wouldn't even be black. If she is, she probably would be an exotical, racially ambiguous, meaning you don't kind of know what she is. You got to ask, like, well, what is she? She mixed. She wouldn't be like a woman that you look at and be like, oh, that's a black woman. And even if she is not going to be the skin complexion of Rita, the skin complexion of his daughter, which is his skin complexion. She ain't gonna look like that. I guarantee you that. Because you don't see men with money get with a woman that looks like that. We just gonna keep it real, y'all. Listen, we talking today. Happy Sunday. You don't see a man with money opting to go with the darker complected woman, not a black man. You'll see a white man, because remember, the white man, black is black. He ain't looking at light skin, dark skin. Black is black. He either with black or not. But that black man, he's looking at the skin complexion, especially if he's wanting children. He's paying attention to that. He's thinking about what kind of hair his kids are going to have, what skin complexion his kids are going to. He's thinking about all of that. He is thinking about all of that. And he a dark-skinned man. Y'all tell me in this chat, what celebrity dark-skinned man you know has a dark-skinned wife? What dark-skinned male celebrity out here? Because I can't think of any right now, but you all may be able to think of some and drop it in the chat. And but what dark skin? So when I say dark skin, I'm talking about Anton Daniels' skin complexion. Who else? Who's dark skin? Michael Jordan's skin complexion. That's when I say dark skin. What dark skinned male celebrity can you think of that has a wife whose skin complexion is also dark like his? That's what I'm saying. I noticed that these men, the more they climb up the ladder, the more they fatten their bank accounts, the lighter the woman becomes, the lighter the children becomes. Like, y'all, like, I'm not making this issue up. I'm just observing like this. It is what it is. I don't make up the rules, but I become aware of them and I see what it is. Anton, in his mind, ready for an upgrade. And if he's able to have that while still holding on to his wife, that helps him get to the bag, because he know these beautiful women, it ain't gonna help the way, I bet you none of them is nowhere near as smart as Rita. He said in school, like, Rita was getting a good grades or whatever. What he say? He was a C student. This man has been benefiting off of this woman damn near all her adult life. Like, he says it. Rita's smarter than him. He's smart. She's smarter than him. So he wants to keep Rita around for his financial gain. He knows that his success is where it is because of what Rita does. The things that we don't see. He knows what she brings to the table. But how he holds control over her is through finances. Oh, you don't need to work. I got you. I'll pay for this or that. That's the control. You got to be able to see through it. That is the control. Because when you don't have your own, the person knows that now you're codependent. You need them. So they know that you may one day be mad in your feelings, but they know you just going to have to work through that. You're not going anywhere because you do not have money and resources to do any of that. So he's like, listen, you just might as well get over your little feelings, because like, what you going to do? Where you going? I heard Rita, y'all, one time when I used to follow, listen to his show, the Millionaire Morning Show. Rita said if her and Anton were to ever get divorced, she would not ask for a dime from him. she would just leave. I didn't like the sound of that, but I understood. Anton gives, soon as you get away from him, you just want to get away from him. You don't want no. Y'all ever dealt with somebody, some of you ladies, maybe you got kids with somebody and you like, I ain't even trying to chase him down for no child support or nothing because I just want to get away from this mofo. I don't want nothing they got. I got a job. I just, if I can just cut ties. Y'all remember that movie Julia Roberts where she faked her death, acting she done went and took swim lessons, all of that because she just wanted to get away from that man. That's what I thought about when Rita said, I don't want a dime from him. I don't care. I just want to be done. Because Anton gives that he would be the type to try to make your life a living hell. Like if she were to try to leave with something, he would just make her life a living hell. So she was like, F it. You got it. You got it. Kimberly said, controlling people are the worst. So when she said that, it just spoke volumes to me of what kind of man he is. To where she was like, when I get away from this mofo, I don't want no parts of him. I just don't want to have no reason to have to carry on a conversation ever again with him. What other reason would somebody say, I'm willing to leave empty-handed with nothing and they don't even work? Y'all got to really think about it. That's how bad it is with him. How many of y'all seen that video that's out there where another content creator had found and they had circulated where she was sitting down doing an interview with some third person, I don't know who, but saying how she thinks Anton, he crazy, he emotional, she thinks he's capable of offing someone. Y'all seen that? That's out there too. I'm wondering where the hell was he at and who was this recording? Because I'm thinking, what woman speak this way about a man that they're still married to? Like, to me, it would make more sense if she did that sit down and then she eventually divorced him. And then now, you're talking about it. Who does that? Who does a sit down talking like that about their spouse and they're still with them? That's crazy work, y'all. This that stuff I be talking about. This is that stuff I be talking about. You have to teach people how to treat you. Rita know very well what Anton is capable of, but she's still there. Why? For a dime or a dollar. For a dime or a dollar. That is why that woman is still in that relationship. 40 people watching, 40 likes. I like that number. Rita is in this situation, in this marriage for financial reasons. How many of you on here are in a situation right now and is rooted in finances? To where, like, if your situation was different, you would be the F gone. That's a lot of people, especially women. But you got men nowadays, y'all. I done seen TikToks with men talking about, listen, I don't like this woman. I just got off work. I'm talking to y'all on this TikTok. I don't want to go in the house. She get on my nerves. I'm not even attracted to her. Like, you got men out there who feel that way too, to where they're like, but she the breadwinner. I mean, I what I really like is over here, but I can't afford that. Y'all, that's why it's real. Y'all better listen up when I say a man is linked up with what he qualifies for. He's linked up with what he qualifies for. And a lot of women are in some relationships that they're not really happy in, but due to financial reasons, they still stick around. Is that you? Are you a Rita? Rita, are you in the chat? How many people raise their hand? I am Rita. I am Rita. Y'all know how people do that? Like, there's a lot of Ritas out here, and it's sad. It's sad, and I don't wish that on anybody. I don't feel like anybody should be in a situation out of, like, when they're uncomfortable or when they're not happy in it, out of, like, just necessity. I just don't think any relationship should be like that. For a man to be in a situation like that, or a woman. Like, if you're going to be with somebody, like, be with them because you genuinely want to be with them. Not be with them because if you weren't, you're going to be homeless. You're not going to have food. You're not going to have clothes. Like, I don't think anyone should be in a relationship. Okay, sorry, I had a call coming in. Yeah, I don't think anyone should be in a relationship like that where they feel like, okay, I got to be here because of financial reasons, because otherwise I'm going to be homeless. That's a sad situation. And y'all, I did not know that men like felt that way too until I was like seeing these compilations like last year probably in the fall or something. And I seen these compilations of men talking about how they really felt about their women, their wives. And I'm like, oh my God, like I don't know. For some reason, it just surprised me because I hear like a lot of women, because I'm a woman. So conversations like, here you hear about women being in these relationships for, whatever reason, finances, usually, finances, like, oh my God, if I could just not be with him, he get on my nerves. But I didn't know that men are like doing the same thing where they'll be with like women, and then the women a lot of times will be like maybe the breadwinner or make the most money, and then they really don't want to be there with that woman, but they're like, listen, I can't afford to go anywhere else. Like, I can't afford the woman I really want to be with. Like, they really say that, like, yo, I I really like this type of woman, but my money ain't up, so I can't afford her. Like, ladies, that's what I'm like. Ladies, this is a real thing. You can find that on the internet. Go to YouTube and type that in. Type in how men really feel about their wives, and it'll come up. So I say this to say that don't be with a man thinking that, oh, okay, I got to stick around with him because because I just don't want to come off as just a bitch, or come off a certain way. I need to still show that I'm loyal, and because a lot of these men are with you still because of their own personal gains. So while you may be thinking you trying to be loyal and take the high road with sticking around in these relationships, there are men who are only sticking around with you for finances. They don't like you. They're not even attracted to you. They think you're fat. They think you're ugly. This is how, and I'm like, man, imagine being that woman and you come across, and y'all know how you share videos. Y'all know how you share videos with people. Can y'all imagine, ladies, like somebody, your girl, your mom, somebody sent you a video and it's a compilation of men talking about how they feel about their women, and your man is one of them men, and you learn in that video that he hasn't been attracted to you in about 5 years. He think that you fat, you overweight, you lazy. He only with you because you paid most of the bills. Like, can you imagine? Like, this is the situation with a lot of relationships out here. That these men are just there for their own gain, because the minute they get up, the minute that they get some more money, they're gone. And this is what we're seeing with Anton and Rita. That when Anton started winning in a way with social media than he was before, I would say in the past year, Anton has really been doing it when it comes to like YouTube. 2025 was like a pivotal year, I feel like, with him and his channels. That is when I really took notice of just the switch up with his energy. Pay attention. That's when I noticed the switch up with his energy, when he started really trending out there on YouTube. So if we're noticing it and we're just, subscribers, watchers, or whatever, imagine what the energy is like in the home. He used to, before he was popping like this on YouTube, he used to post videos or pictures of Rita cleaning his feet, massaging his feet. Y'all, I'm not making this ish up. I've known who this man is for like at least 4 or 5 years. He would take pictures and show video of her giving him pedicures, rubbing his feet, massaging his feet. He has said on his platform or on the internet plenty of times, in my house, it's what I want. It's my way. Rita, the daughter, they can voice, however they feel, but at the end of the day, it's how I want it to be. I run the show. Like, he's legit said this. Dawu said, let me see. We'll call it Dawu. It's a long name. Last message. This phrase never gets old. It's cheaper to keep her. Marriage is a business, right? When you know, it's cheaper to keep her. And I think a lot of I think probably the vast majority of marriages today is centered around that thought process with both the man and even the woman, where financially they feel like it makes more sense to stay together. Especially in today's time where the cost of rent and food, people losing jobs. I bet you there's fewer divorces taking place right now. I haven't looked it up lately, but I'm willing to bet that right now there's probably fewer divorce filings. Because really, when you think about it, if you're going to go your separate ways, you're now going to be just doing this thing called life by yourself. Can you afford to do it by yourself? If you've built your lifestyle with the help of someone else, like really think about it. Can you afford to pay all your bills on your own, bills that you have split down the middle maybe for however many years? So I'm willing to bet that probably divorces are down. I know last year, because y'all remember I said I have a second channel. She speaks on it. I talk politics. So a lot of times I'll get into things centered around like economics and things like that on that channel. But I know last year I had reported how bankruptcies were up. More people were filing bankruptcies. So now I'm wondering if maybe divorce rates are down. I want to say back in probably like 2024, I seen a news report that talked about divorces being down. And I think it was because of finances and people now living together, kind of like a roommate type situation. I saw a case, you all, last year, maybe it was like, or maybe it was in January. It was a woman telling her story of how she got married for finances. She needed medical insurance. So she didn't have medical insurance by herself as a single woman. She had been with her man for like 5 years. They just didn't desire to want to, get married, but they were together. They just both didn't want to do the marriage thing and get caught up in, because a lot of people don't like, oh, I don't want the government all up in my relationship. So you got people who are like anti-marriage just because of the government aspect. And so they're like, I can be with a person, but I don't need to like be married to them on paper. Like, I don't have to do that. I personally don't find anything wrong with that. I feel like if you bring in kids into this world, I think then you should go the route of marriage just because of it's just more structured foundation. It's more beneficial for the child. But if you're beyond that, you don't desire to have kids, or say your children are grown and you just want to just be together, I see absolutely nothing wrong with that. So it just depends on where you're at in your life. So this woman coming off of, with Trump, with the big, beautiful bill and these changes with the health care and things like that, she wasn't going to be able to have that subsidized, with the health care and all of that. So she ended up marrying her man so she can get on his benefits. So I say that to say that a lot of times people do things out of just from the financial aspect of it. And it's just that. But they say love ain't got nothing to do with it. This woman marrying her husband, it wasn't rooted out of love. It was rooted out of need, a financial need. She said she loved him. They loved each other, but they were doing that without marriage. You don't need to be married to somebody to love them. But as someone pointed out, marriage is a business. In order for her to get access to her man's medical coverage, she had to marry him. So that's what she did. She married him. So how many people out here in this world are in, what do you call it, a transactional relationship, like we're in these situationships because there's some type of need that's rooted in finances. There's a type of need there's a need rooted in finances. There are so many women I've also been hearing over the last couple of years who are talking about wanting to get married, to get in these serious relationships, because things have gotten so hard out here with trying to do it on your own, from a financial standpoint. So they're like, yo, I need help. I need somebody. So they're willing to just come inside, lead them streets, just so they can kind of marry somebody, and play house with somebody and get access to, someone else's bank account, because they're it's hard out here. And I think that's sad, because I don't think that's what a relationship or marriage should be rooted in. with you getting with that person because of finances. I think it should be rooted in like, well, how you really feel about this person, and the financial part is, an aspect of it. But for the fact, but the idea of just marrying somebody and it's just rooted in finances and nothing more. I mean, I think that's a sad situation to be in, but I understand that there are a lot of people who are in those situations and who are willing to sign up for those situations right now because they say they just can't afford to live on their own anymore. They're like, I ain't like, when they on their Tasha K, I ain't got it. Like, I need a man. And hell, are there men out here talking about, listen, I need me a woman? Like, because men are, you got some men out here who are kind of struggling too. So I don't know if they were moving out, if they moving out. I know men in marriages have said, listen, I really don't want to be here, but I can't afford to move around. But do we have single men out here who are like, yo, like, I need to get me a woman with a good job because I'm tired of eating ramen noodles. I'm tired of sleeping on people's couches. Like, are there men out here where they call them hobosexuals? Are there any hobosexuals in the chat? So it's like, yeah, you just got to be vigilant. Side-eye everybody. Side-eye everybody. Really do a deep dive into people's situations to really see what's really up. Like, what's really going on here? Why are you really here? Like, do you really like me like that? Or are you just on some other type of time? But these are like safe, questions you need to ask because it can save you. Because you can get caught up in a situation down the line by ignoring the signs that somebody really wasn't really here for you like that on that type of level. Like, so you really got to, like, for men and women, you really got to really pay attention as to why are you here? What are you bringing to the table? Like, what do you bring to this relationship? Like, it's bigger than finances. It's just like, just anything, like, as a person, what's your moral compass, your character? Like, you got to look beyond the physical. And a lot of people are caught up in situations because they were just caught up in the physical. Hence, I talked about Fantasia Barrino. I started this live talking about her story. If you just joining, catch the replay. I talked about Fantasia Barrino, her marrying a man who was an ex-con. He came into her life saying, hey, I'm a multi-million-dollar through a trucking company. And her father is now on the internet saying that was all lies. That man didn't have nothing. He was lying. He was lying. He's still out here lying. He lying and stealing. He's stealing my daughter's money and blaming it on the family. Blaming it on Fantasia's brother, saying he's the one who's stealing the money when in fact he's the one stealing the money. Listen, this is what Fantasia's daddy is saying. Joesph Barrino. What they say, game recognized game. He was like, I was able to peep game out the gate. I was able to peep game out the gate but baby girl nose was wide open. She didn't want to hear nothing I had to say. But y'all, this is real life stuff. So you got to pay attention and accept reality, because what they say, if you don't deal with it today, you're going to have to deal with it eventually. And the more time that passes, the worse it will be when you have to finally stop and deal with the reality of a situation. Anton's dealing with the reality of the situation that he's created, just as Micca's dealing with the reality of the situation she's created. Let me see. Golly says, I guess you never know what you accept until you find somebody that's going to pay all the bills. I like that. I can agree. I think that's the thing. What we say never, because I think that's what happens. A lot of people wind up in a situation that they just would have never thought that they would be in. How many of you have ever experienced that? You found yourself in a situation you would have never thought you'd be in, dealing with some foolishness. Say, oh, I'd never do this, I'd never do that. And then you're doing that very thing. You're doing that very thing that you said you would never do. So that's why, too, we have to be mindful when we look at people's situations with judgment. Like, there's a thin line between like with the judgment, but in observing and learning. So with the situation with Fantasia Barrino, the situation with Anton Daniels and Micca, Corey Holcomb, these are situations that we can all learn from to save us from having to experience them ourselves. There are so many lessons and with a lot of these cases where people are bringing their business to the internet, the family drama, you see Glorilla, the rapper, and then her sister, who they call Brorilla, aka Scarface. Like, everyone's bringing their business to the internet. I mean, it didn't just start. This is just what they've been doing. I don't know who told these people that the internet was like free therapy. I don't know, because I have yet to see it work where someone just brought their business to the internet and then they got solutions. Like, I haven't seen it work. I don't know. Y'all let me know if y'all seen it work. I haven't seen it work yet. But this is what people are doing. They're bringing their business to the internet. So we see it and we talk about it. But I feel like we should see it and talk about it in a way of learning from it. There's to learn from it, to know what not to do. Golly said, giving grace is either stand too long or not stand long enough. Right? Like, pick a side. Hey, what's up, Francis? Good morning. Love you too. Welcome. Haven't seen you in a minute. Like, it's like, pick a side. Because as I say, my mom always say, it's a such thing as staying too long. There's a such thing as staying too long. You have to know when to hold them and when to fold them. That means you have to know when to bow out. You got to know when to bow out. And if you can't figure it out and you trying to understand, like, take it to your higher power. Pray about it. Because we don't always know. We don't have the answers. Find someone to talk to who you trust. But a lot of times people stay in situations far too long and it just makes things worse. It's like, oh my God, if only if I look like Cardi B with her and Offset. Cardi B, when she first filed for divorce with Offset, like the first time some years back, her net worth was maybe half probably what it's worth now. So had she divorced him then versus like now, it's like it's more money on the line that she has to kind of split up. You see what I'm saying? So as she was still with him and playing them games, whatever it was that they were doing, her net worth was accumulating. So now when she finally like, okay, I'm serious now. Okay, well, that changes things, because now instead of you been worth maybe 50 million, you're worth 100 million. You see what I'm saying? How that makes a difference? How that makes a difference? So, child, I'm just saying. It makes a difference. So you just got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. When to hold them and when to fold them. Talk to somebody. If you don't know, you can't figure it out, talk to somebody who you trust that can kind of help you kind of come to some type of conclusion as to kind of what you should do. Talk to a financial advisor, talk to a lawyer. But don't just sit and not do nothing. Don't just sit and not do nothing. That's what I'm saying. Don't just sit and not do nothing. That's what a lot of people is like, okay, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to sit. I'm just not going to do anything. I don't know what to do. Don't do that. Don't do that. Talk to somebody who you trust, that you trust will give you sound advice, because it really can make a difference. For some people, it can save your life. Some, it can save your bank account, save you a coin or two, save you a bag. So Anton, he done so dirty out here to where if Rita were to divorce him, I think she has more than enough ammo to support infidelity, which would have her to get whatever it is that she may want to get. But she said on camera, y'all, that Anton is crazy and she thinks that he's capable of offing someone. These were her words. It's out there on the internet. You want to know what I'm talking about? Go to the internet, go to YouTube, type in Rita Daniels speaks about Anton Daniels. It's out there. Anton, you will not find it on Anton's channel, but other people, like I said, the internet is forever. Once it's out there, there's always somebody who is going to see it and who's going to save it. Who's going to screen record it. They're going to save it. So that video is out there with Rita talking about Anton and being fearful of him. All of those things. All of those things. So if Rita did want to get out from a legal aspect, I think she got all the ammunition she need. But if Rita was saying those things years ago about her being fearful of Anton and, thinking saying he's very emotional and things like that, I'm pretty sure like those sentiments have not changed. Those sentiments are still there. So that's another thing we have to kind of factor in when people stay in relationships, the whys. Because with Rita, as I'm talking more about this, I think it's twofold. It's finances, and it could very much so be fear. It can be out of fear of safety, because she has gone on camera and said that she think that man is crazy. I mean, those were her words. It wasn't somebody else, a content creator, saying. They played a video where Rita was sitting there being interviewed by Lord knows who, saying Anton is emotional, and I believe he is capable of offing someone. That is what Rita said. I doubt that her sentiments, her feelings about her husband has changed. I highly doubt it has changed. So, yeah, I mean, Rita, I think she just needs to, take it to her higher power, get around people who care about her, her family, siblings, mom, whoever, to build a support system. Because I don't think that she should remain in the relationship simply out of fear. I don't think she should do that. Now, I will add that they say with DV relationships that the most dangerous time for that woman who's in a DV relationship is when she leaves. That's why, as I talk, I say it's a such thing as staying too long, because I feel like the longer you stay in something, the harder it is to get out. It's hard. So, but I don't feel like you should stay in it out of fear. I just think that you have to be more strategic with your plan to leave, your exit plan. You got to be more strategic in it. You got to factor, these things in. But when you see the signs that somebody is just off, a loose cannon, dangerous, what they said, Oprah said, who is that? I don't know who said that. It was like Ayanna or Oprah. When somebody showed you who they are, believe them. This is what we're dealing with. Anton showed me years ago who he was, and I believed him. And I hope now the rest of the world believe him. But I believed him before other people believed him. Oh, I believe he showed who he was. To me, he's moving like he showed who he was. He showed who he was. So sunny, huh? I gotta clear on my phone. So yeah, it's a lot. I know I covered a lot on this live. If you came later, be a part of Replay Gang. I did a live last night talking about the Anton Daniels, Micca, Corey, Holcomb situation. So check that out if you haven't. Like, share, subscribe. There's a few, several things that I've been following as of late. So that's why I've kind of come on this channel. Like I said, mostly I'm over on my political channel. Chic Speaks on it, talking politics. But I seem like lately I've kind of been more tapped into just the things that's just been going on and just, these people's lives, these celebrities' lives, and just the lessons that we can learn from them. Because it's definitely been a lot that I've been able to learn. So I thought, hey, let's go out here and talk about it. Let me just go on my channel and talk about it to see, what are some things that I can share with people? What are some things that I can maybe learn from people centered around these different situations going on out here on the internet? So again, we have Fantasia Barrino and her father, Joesph Barrino, kind of going back and forth on the internet. I don't know if Fantasia has technically said anything. They're saying there was something put out there that was supposedly her words, but I don't know, because I didn't think it wasn't like a video like what her husband did and what her father did. But nonetheless, her father is still talking He's talking. So be a part of the replay gang and catch the beginning of this live to hear what I had to say about what he said, because he had a lot to say. And I do not believe Pops is lying. I definitely believe him over her husband, Kendall Taylor. I'm just saying. That man is not lying. But check it out. Check it out for yourself. If you want to watch the interview yourself, it's on the content creator, Tony Gaskins, Tony Gaskins. And so put that in YouTube. And Fantasia Barrino's her father is Joesph Barrino. So you can type in his name too. I've seen some other people it looks like he's done some interviews with. But Tony Gaskins, I watched that interview yesterday. And it was a really good interview. I learned a lot about the family. And I believe that Fantasia's marriage is I definitely think that there's trouble there. I think there's trouble there. But I think that Fantasia needs to really do some investigation on her financial situation and not just go off of what her husband is saying. Hopefully, with everyone talking about this on the internet, it'll kind of prompt her to kind of start doing some investigation, even if like her husband doesn't even know that she's looking into some things. Because listen, the right hand don't need to know what the left hand's doing. So I think that it would be beneficial for her to start doing some investigating that maybe, he's not aware of. He doesn't have to know everything, because I'm sure, baby girl, you don't know everything that he's doing. I'm sure you don't know everything he's doing. So go ahead, investigate your money, see what's really going on. And if you got some questions, take it to him. And that's what that's why her dad said he wanted to bring it to the internet, because he was like, well, she's not listening to me. So I figure if I bring it to the internet, if other people start saying something, she will act and be like, okay, well, since you all are concerned as well, let me just try to look as well. And to me, that makes sense. That makes sense, to where it's just like, okay, well, daddy was saying this, but hell, now other people are saying, they feel they share the same sentiments as him. Maybe there is something there. Let me go look. Let me take a closer look. What does it hurt with looking? And I think it could be very well possible that Fantasia may be fearful of what she may find, because a lot of times people will not go looking and turning over the rock because they're afraid of what they are going to find. Behavior, you said she disrespected her dad and I lost respect for her. Yeah, so people are questioning if that was really her that put that comment out. I didn't see the comment, but I know it was something centered around like calling him a sperm donor. I think putting out his mug shot and things like that. So in the interview, he was questioned, like, the person who was interviewing him, Tony Gaskins, was like, do you think that was really her? And dad was like, well, I don't know. I mean, it could have been. I don't know. So I don't know. I actually haven't even seen that post. I've heard talks of it, but I've listened to Kendall Taylor, the husband's, because he did a video. So I saw what he had to say, heard what he had to say. And he's one of them types to me that comes off as like a Rico Suave type guy, to where kind of like he doesn't have an intimidating look. So the things that he says and does, people will kind of like, they won't look at it the same way as maybe somebody else who don't look as good as him. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like with Micca. He's like the Micca in the situation where, because he's got the looks where he's light skinned, the attractive guy, he doesn't come off as intimidating. I'll say that. Fantasia's husband does not come off as intimidating. So when you're someone who don't come off as intimidating, a lot of time it's like it's like people miss a lot of stuff because they're caught up. They're caught up in what you look like. So they give you passes on your foolishness. They give you passes on your foolishness. Just say Wednesday, where was her husband mugshot though? That's what they saying. So the daddy's like, yo, like, I'm owning mine. She making it seem like she got a fairy tale situation over there when that's not the case. That's not the case. BCU says she not going to do nothing. She believes her husband lies. Yeah. I understand what you mean. Hold up on us light-skinned men. I'm married to one. Listen. I know all about the light-skinned men. I got me one for over 20 years, 25 years. So I understand, and I talked to him about that, to where light-skinned men, they don't come off as light-skinned men don't come off as intimidating as like a darker complected man. But even with women, as I was talking about skin tone, a darker complexion woman is going to typically come off more aggressive or be presumed as being more aggressive than the lighter complected woman. But how many dark-skinned women you see out there, y'all, that don't got the energy nowhere near like a Cardi B? Rita, for example, she's a dark-skinned woman. Put Rita on the side of Cardi B. But guess who the one who is going to look as being more problematic, and you're going to assume that she got all the mouth in the world? You're going to assume it's Rita, right? Because she's dark-skinned. The way society puts it out there is that the dark-skinned man is the more intimidating man. The dark-skinned woman is more intimidating. Lighter complecting people, it's like it puts your guard down, because the lighter the lighter you are, the more closer to proximity you are to white. What they say, white is right. So Fantasia's husband, he benefits from his pretty privilege, we'll call it. He benefits from pretty privilege. And that's how he's been able to get over on her and get over on a bunch of other people. BCU said, how much was stolen? Why she didn't make a police report? I have not heard a dollar amount put out on the amount that's been stolen. Daddy in the interview did not mention a dollar amount, but he did say that they started accusing his son Rico Barrino of taking the money, but he did not say the dollar amount. The person interviewing him did not ask him the dollar amount. Behavior Finance said, 25 years, a blessing and beautiful. I pray for y'all continued love and longevity. Thank you so much. It is a very, very long time. You're not lying because of the colorism, unfortunately. Like, it's a real thing. Like, I talk about it. I have children. We have 3 children together. So 2 of my children are light complected like my husband, and then my oldest son is brown like me. So over the years, like, we've talked about these things because I want my children to understand the difference of just what life is like just with colorism, just within the Black community, how you're treated, the experiences you have. So, like, I feel like it need to be talked about, because I didn't want, with my 3 children and them seeing like different shades amongst one another, them to feel like one is better, one is more superior over the other. But my kids are very much so aware of, just by living life, being just going to school, they're aware, they've experienced just the difference between seeing the treatment, the talk, the language centered around people who have dark complexion versus people that have light complexion. Fantasia's husband is getting these passes because of what he looks like. I bet you if Fantasia's husband was a darker complected man, like her father, like her, people wouldn't be giving him all these passes the way they do. I'm just saying, they wouldn't do it. They would not get his man all these passes like that. He's getting these passes because of how he looks. The average woman is going to find this man attractive. Fantasia probably think he the best thing since sliced bread. She probably feel like she ain't never had a man that looked that good. I'm just saying. It's a real thing. People get caught up in looks all the time. Men do it and women do it. But when they do it, they get in situations and they be down bad. That is what I feel like this happening with Fantasia. Fantasia, see, Dawood said, Fantasia has a bird brain. You can do something good and make a lot of money doing one thing. Intelligence. You said, I'm white and I don't feel that way. Jeez. Yeah. And what I'm talking about, it's different from, like, within the Black community, like the colorism thing, it's a thing with us, not really with white people. With white people, typically you're Black or you're white. They don't really go into the shades. That whole shade skin complexion thing, that's just within the Black community. So most of the time when you're dealing with colorism, Like, it's within the black community. But I will say, for a black man, a more fair complected black man to a white man is going to come off as less intimidating than a dark skinned black man like an Anton Daniels or say Michael Jordan. A darker complected man is going to come off as more intimidating. Behavior finance, you have beautiful smile teeth. Thank you so much. Do they have children together? And Fantasia and her husband have like a 5-year-old beautiful daughter together. Yep, they do. Beautiful little girl. She's not on the fair skin side. She's on the fair skin side like her dad. Beautiful little girl. She doesn't have Fantasia's skin complexion. But here's the thing, you know, a lot of times, like, these are the things that people factor in when they get with people. They think about what their children are going to look like. A lot of times they want their children to have different experiences than maybe what they had if they felt like they weren't accepted in society. So they will purposely get with someone who they feel is a part of the dominant side, whether it's a white person or a fair-skinned person. So therefore, from a genetic standpoint, when they have children, they can increase the chances of like their children looking more acceptable. Right? This is a thing, you all. Her baby, yeah, her baby's on the light side. You can look her up. They have pictures of her. I can't remember her name, but go to Fantasia Barrino's Instagram page, and she has pictures of her kids. All her kids are like lighter than her. She has pictures of her kids, but I believe the lightest baby is probably the daughter, because her daddy, you know, he's light skinned. The other, I'm assuming, you know, I know her son's dad, that was the married man she had a baby with. He's like brown skin. And I don't know what her oldest daughter's dad looks like, but I'm willing to bet that her last baby dad, like the guy, Kendall Taylor, like he's probably like the lighter of all the men, you know, that she's had children with. BCU said Fantasia is going to take sides with her husband, and she believes her husband's lies. Yeah, unfortunately, that's typically how it is in relationships, especially with women when it comes to their men, and especially when the woman has been pulled away from her family. So a lot of times an abuser, what he'll do is he'll try to isolate you from your family. So therefore, they're not able to get in your ear and to speak some sense into you. That's what you see him do. And I feel like that her husband has purposely kind of created this wall between Fantasia and her family, her father. So therefore, they won't be in her ear to like point out the shenanigans that they're able to see. Serena said, you're my favorite Caucasian streamer. Kyra says, light-skinned folks got it just like dark-skinned folks. What you talking about? Nah. No, light-skinned people get a different type of experience than dark-skinned people. Like when somebody is really real to them with themselves, they acknowledge that. They say they have they get talked about for being light, but most of the ones, when they're being honest, they do acknowledge the fact that being light-skinned, they don't have as many challenges in life as that of a dark-skinned person. Like I've listened to like different like panels and conversations with the dark-skinned versus light-skinned conversation, and they'll say even though they've had some challenges, they will acknowledge that their challenges have been on a different level than that of a dark-skinned person. BCU said Fantasia's not going to divorce him. They have too much to lose. Yeah, I see. When it comes to Fantasia, I think if that were to happen, it would have to be because he has effed up so bad and so royally to where it impacted the money, to where it's just out there, it can't be hidden, and she's just trying to save face and get out of it. But I think it would have to kind of be bad for her to do that, where like worse than what it is now, where it's just evident that, kind of like on some Wendy Williams stuff, y'all. So Wendy Williams didn't leave her husband Kevin until Tasha became like apparent to the rest of the world that he was having this affair and this woman was having a baby. People were calling a hospital. Or, you see what I'm saying? Where it gets to a point to where you can no longer hide it. That's what I feel like with Fantasia. Like as long as it can kind of be hidden, she'll kind of keep it going. But if it gets to the point to where it can't be hidden anymore and it's so plainly obvious, then I think that's when she'll kind of react and move on. But that's going to be when like her finances start to take a hit, money start missing. At this point, he can't blame it on someone else, because think about it, if he just fired some people from what the dad says, accusing them of stealing from her, y'all think that he can do that again? Because he's already done that play. Like, think about it. He's already done that play. You think he gonna do that play again, where someone starts saying money's coming up missing and then suddenly he fires them? How many times is Fantasia gonna be able to fall for that? Because allegedly she fell for it this time. Do y'all think that she's gonna fall for it again? Like, why is it that all these people in the finance department are just stealing from Fantasia? As soon as they start talking about money's missing, then it's them. It's only so long you can play boo-boo the fool. I'm just saying. Dawood said, yep, the finance. It's only so long before you can play boo-boo the fool. And it's going to take probably another time or two for the conversation to come up about money's being spent, and then him hollering, pointing the finger at somebody else and wanting to fire people, for her to wake up and be like, yeah, there's something here. Behavioral finance said, I'm lost. Why she don't have a CPS and taxes attorney? I don't know. Does her husband gamble? I don't know. That's the thing. All I knew about this man was this interview from when he did an interview about 4 or 5 years ago, and he said that he had a multi-million-dollar trucking company. Like, that's all I knew about this man. I knew, yeah, he said he was an ex-felon. He did time in the pen. Like, I knew that, but I've never heard nothing. Y'all, this is what I think is happening. Because listen up, ladies, men, but ladies, 9 times out of 10, when money start coming up missing, there is another woman. There's someone out in extramarital affairs taking place. If there is money coming up missing, I'm willing to bet there is a woman or man, however he rolls, but I'm gonna go with woman. I'm gonna just go with that he's just heterosexual. There is a woman out there he is spending money on. Just like with Wendy Williams and her husband Kevin, there was a woman he was spending her money on. What else is he doing with the money? What is he doing with the money? Someone asked, does he gamble? I don't know. But my initial thought when everything came out was that there is a woman, there's another woman somewhere around that he is spending money on. That he's whining and dining and buying gifts and things. Now, Daddy didn't say this in the interview, but I heard, now it's alleged, that he made a baby on her. This is what I heard, y'all. Have y'all heard this? I heard during their relationship, he has made a baby on her. But in the interview that I watched last night on the Tony Gaskins YouTube channel, that did not come up. So, just putting that out there. I'm just putting that out there. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's these signs there that just something's not right. But it's only for so long. Behavior used to, like Oprah said, manage your own money. I just think when more money start coming up missing, it's going to force her to have to really stop and deal with it. And it's going to be so bad to where she's going to be in jeopardy of probably looking like she's going to be going broke again, to where she's going to get rid of him. Because people aren't going to be that quick to come to her rescue if she still has him around, the person who's sucking her dry. Like, think about it. You're not going to want to feed and pour into somebody if the person is still aligned with the person who's draining them dry. You're going to be like, no, you're not. You're still in this situation. You're going to be more apt to help somebody when you see that person remove themselves from a bad situation. Now you're like, okay, I'm going to help you because you've now kind of got away from that person, got out of that situation. But typically, somebody's not going to just be trying to help somebody that's still choosing to stay in a bad situation with somebody. You know what I'm saying? It just don't make sense. So I think it's going to come a point to where she's going to have to deal with it. She's going to have to deal with it. BCU said, I do think it's another woman. It's his greedy, it's his greedy ass husband. She should own her own bank account, no joint account, put him and other families on payroll, W-2, the way she knows where her money's going, and tell them don't ask for it anymore. I mean, this man's like, listen, fans, as you go out there and do these shows, I got the rest. Go do these shows, I got the rest here. Like, that's what it's getting. And she's like, okay. But hopefully, because daddy has kind of aired everything out, it's going to have her to just kind of start looking into some things unbeknownst to him. I think if she were to do that, she will discover a lot. There'll be a lot that she will find. But the question is, will she do it? Would she ever do something like that? And how much later would she do it? Because I truly believe him buying that ring was to save face, to justify funds that were missing. Therefore, he could say, oh, yeah, the reason why that money is gone because I bought you this 11-carat ring. Y'all, how much does 11? I think I had my mom look it up. I think it was like about over $100,000 for an 11-carat diamond ring. So let's just say, you know, a whole bunch of money's missing. He can justify it by saying, oh, I bought the ring. And he can say he spent more on the ring than what he really did. You just got to be able to peep game. That's why I think it was staged, and that's what the daddy think why the husband went on stage with that ring, with that new purchase, to try to hide the money, like to justify why money is missing. Oh, because I was buying you something with your money. You see what I'm saying? Because basically she bought that ring. Hell, the first ring she had, because she already had a big, beautiful ring in this ring. She bought it. Like, she bought all the rings, so he just went and did the shopping and picked it out, but she paid for it. Like, really? I don't know, y'all. It's a lot. I've been on here for a while with y'all. Thank y'all for joining me on this walk and talk. Please like, share, and subscribe. If there's any other new shenanigans that come up out of this situation, I would definitely come back to report. But y'all, it's so much family drama going on with these celebrities out here. Behavior fight said, come on, auntie, you know that ring is a lab-grown diamond, right? But she don't know. Clearly she believe in everything he's saying, to where he done told her that he probably showing, like, because there was like a couple of $100,000 missing. He's probably telling her, oh, I bought this ring. So he's going off of the true value of what a real legit diamond ring would be, not you said the lab grown one that might be what, 30,000. You know, she don't know all that. She don't know all that. She's just like, oh snap, 11 carat ring, you know, he spent some money on this. Y'all, it's just a play. It's a lot going on, so I'm gonna continue to kind of follow the shenanigans that's taking place out here. Where's the behavior stuff? Where is the receipts? Y'all, do you think Fantasia be bright enough to even ask or require for that man to show her a receipt of the purchase? Like, think about it. To me, their relationship gives whatever he tells her, she goes along with it. Because remember, that's her king. That's her king. But anyway, thank you for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for those who joined on this live, new subscribers. It's been a lot. It's been a lot going on out here in the world of Hollywood celebrities. But this is what we do over here. We just talk about these things and we just try to learn from them. We just try to learn from them. How can you go live? So again, I have a second channel, Chic Speaks, on it. I go live more regularly on that channel. That's a political talk channel. That's my larger platform. This channel, this is my original channel, so I'm actually going to probably plan to spend time on this channel more often, covering like non-politics stuff, because you know that just got too much. So I've taken a break from talking to politics, but I've just kind of been talking about it's Chic Speaks, and then like this on it. Chic Speaks on it is my second channel, so you can follow me over there. Just add the words on it, and yeah, that's my second channel. So this channel is just where I mostly just talk about just things going on, celebrity stuff, things just going on in the world, just anything non-politics is kind of this channel. The other channel is my political talk channel. So that's where I've kind of last year built that up and just kind of really did well with growing that channel over there. But lately it's just like the politics, it's just been a lot. So I've been more tapped into just anything outside of politics, because child, I had woosah. So, so I've been kind of coming over here more. So right now I don't have a schedule over here. I just plan to kind of come back and just kind of do content over here more. So just stay tuned. Make sure your notification bells are on so you know when I do go live. But yeah, I don't really know. I may go live again tomorrow, and then I have a business trip and I'll be gone traveling for the week. So I'm not sure, when I'll be live again after that. But just stay tuned. You never know. Maybe I'll go live while I'm on my business trip. So otherwise, thank you all for joining. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next broadcast. Peace.